Good afternoon, everybody. Good afternoon. I was having some technical difficulties last night. If y'all see the John show, I have not seen him anywhere around here. This is what it's supposed to sound like. Hold on, hold on. This is what it's supposed to sound like. We're gonna get into it, but right now, um, I think I can hear me okay. I can see y'all, and I'm trying to type to y'all, but I need another device to do it. But I'm gonna speak to y'all, so let y'all know that I see y'all. Hey, Uncle L. Hey, you tuberculosis. Angelo. Hey, you. Arabia Barbosa. Young Riaz. Hey, you. Hey, y'all. Hey, Star. Star in the building. Look at that. Look at y'all. All right, I've been having some technical difficulties. That's low key why I didn't go live last night. I'm live right now, and we're gonna make it do what it do. But y'all see the John show? Just look, because I have things that I would like to do. Hold on. Oh, y'all can't see my screen. Hold on. So you can't see my screen, but you can hear. I think y'all can hear just fine. So let's do that. Y'all can hear just fine. So after the switch, hold on. After this, I don't know what my computer's doing right now. My computer's acting crazy. What about this? Okay. So, I'm sorry, y'all. I have everything together. Trust me. Everything is packaged pretty and all that and all that. But if the John Show was in here, he would appreciate this. Okay, so if anybody follow me on IG, send me my link to this live, please and thank you. Please and thank you. Hey y'all, hey everybody. I cannot freaking type in my chat. I am good. No, I don't want to do any of that. I don't want to do that either. Why are you doing? Okay, y'all. Anywho, look, welcome, y'all. Hey everybody. Let me delete you. Let me delete you. And this is the topic. Y'all see me? Look, y'all see me right here. Y'all see me? Little old me over here in the bottom right corner. Hey, Breeze Omega. Hey, you. Welcome. Look at y'all. Oh, oh. Y'all didn't hear that. Okay. All right. Now I can type. I can tippity type now. All right. Come on. However y'all come, just know we're gonna have a ball. Okay. Make sure you hit the like button anyway. Okay. So y'all see what the topic is. It's gonna be about. And yeah, I took a lot of notes so I don't get sidetracked today. We will not have random thoughts with Jay. Look, we're gonna keep random thoughts with Jay to a minimum. Okay? All right. Just letting everybody know. I'm just letting everybody get in here and get situated before we start. Check this. Thank you, Uncle M. But yeah, oh. I mean, you can have a good fun. I didn't even have my dang. Well,
You hear me now? Look, I am over here all over the place. I am all over the place. Can y'all hear me better now? Yes, Charlie. Oh, Charlie. Breeze. I have questions. I have so many questions. I have a couple of questions about this. I have a couple of questions. Last week we did Jim Jones. He was a cult leader, infamous. cult leader. Um, then this week we're doing Charles Manson. He's also a cult leader, right? And well, was because he's since passed. But my question and I had also there was another thing I was doing, y'all. You remember last week when I had did the whole like video? I had edited a video, like the presentation of what I was gonna talk about. I was trying to do that all, this time. Well, not, you know, but I'ma just say, let's just say we're gonna talk about it. Cause whatever I couldn't edit or whatever I couldn't, make a little short one, I'm gonna talk about it. We're gonna talk about it. So the question for me, my question, all right, so here's the question. We're just gonna get into it. We're just gonna jump right into it. Cause first of all, this is not gonna be a long video like the previous ones, 10, 12 hours long. It's not gonna be long. I'm a I'm gonna, read the chat. I'm gonna interact with y'all. We're gonna watch the video. I'm gonna commentate. I'm gonna try to talk as fast as I can. But we're gonna get out of here because I know y'all got shits to do. It's Friday, so we got shits to do. Well, y'all got people to do and things to see. That's what I know. That's all I heard. I don't know. Okay. So my question, my question, my question is what are the two, here we go. I don't know if y'all can see it. What are the traits do the two cult leaders have in common? Since we only talked about Jim Jones and Charles Manson. Well, we about to talk about Charles Manson today. What are the two similarities that the two cult leaders have in common? Because Arabia, I just found out that a lot of these cult leaders, they have very similar traits, offline and online. And when we finish watching the video, and I hope this don't have to, if it's a two-part series, that's cool. I'm with it. I'm okay with it. It's an open panel. Anybody can, come up, give your opinion. If you have anything on the topic, please feel free to, uh, engage. Look, don't be laughing at me, Young Riaz and Breeze. But yeah, let's get into it. Let's get into it. I was looking for this other video. I was looking for this other and I was looking for this other video. It was like 45 minutes long and I couldn't find it. So we're about to get into this one. And this one really posed my question. This is my question. Because every time when we talk about Charles Manson, they always talking about he was affiliated with the CIA, right? My thing is, how do you know that he was affiliated with the CIA? Right? I mean, this book right here, this first of all, I found out that this guy right here, they got a whole Wikipedia about this guy. He spent 20 years taking notes talking about Charles Manson. Like, but how does that prove that he was in the CIA? I mean, like I said, anybody, got anything on the topic, please feel free to hit the link. But I just want to know how y'all know he was in the CIA because somebody said so. Okay, let's go. Let's go. Let's start. Let's start. Look, let's start. Let's start. Do y'all want to hear some videos before we start, or do y'all just want to? Cause we can. Cause you know how like when I be going to YouTube, I like just start the video. Just I like why you gotta explain what you doing? Just do it. Just do it. Just do it. Like Nike, just do it. What you gotta talk about it for? Put the recipe in the comment section. Just do it.
One of the most horror-filled, nightmarish nights of murder in the recorded annals of American crime.
Sharon Tate.
Sharon Tate has been heavily pregnant. She and 4 of her friends were brutally murdered by the so-called Charles Manson family.
In a scene described by one investigator as reminiscent of...
My bad. Is that too loud for y'all? Video first, please. Okay. Is that too loud? Is that good? If it's too loud, just turn your volume down.
A weird religious rite. 5 persons, including actress Sharon Tate, were found dead at the home of Miss Tate and her husband, screen director Roman Polanski.
A wandering band of members of a so-called religious cult with a leader they call Jesus has had 3 of its followers arrested in the investigation of the murder of Sharon Tate and 6 others.
I mean, it's nightmarish. It's nightmarish. He could get them to murder whomever he asked them to murder. Their religion, their credo was to kill as many people as they could.
I see. I have my conjecture. Hey, Tesha Z's, peace and blessings. You know, I gotta get my commentary. Tesha Z's, I'm be so quick. This gonna be so quick. Hold on. Let me make sure I got it on the right speed.
Is there anything you think you can pass on that society really is missing and that you can tell them about?
Society knows when it wants to know that it's just a jellyfish and it's only controlled by the people who want to move the sheep around. They don't tell them anything. Everybody knows that everybody's lying.
This podcast is about how we know with 99% certainty that Charles Manson and...
So he's going off that chaos book, and I just don't. I'm just trying to understand. I'm just trying to understand. Okay. Let's go.
his followers were weapons created by the CIA's notorious and illegal mind control experiments known as MK Ultra. And I think you're going to conclude that we know this with 100% certainty by the time you hear all the evidence that I lay out here. This secret and illegal program was launched by the CIA in 1953 and halted in 1973 when the U.S. Senate started investigating this program, an investigation led by Senator Frank Church from Idaho. You will also learn here that there is a solid connection between Charles Manson's mass murders and the assassinations of both President John F. Kennedy and Robert F. Kennedy. And these same forces in the CIA are still at work today, and probably even more intensely. The CIA was an evil organization in the 1960s, and it's just as evil today.
Okay, so my question is, all right, so we talking about the CIA, right? And, you know, this MK Ultra, and they just building people, human weapons to go do something, right? To go do something. Charles Manson was already doing his something. He was already murking people. And we know the CIA, the FBI, all them agencies don't like niggas for real. They didn't like them back then, right? So if they was making him a human weapon, wouldn't he go be killing niggas and not his people? Or am I confused? Am I tripping? Well, let's continue.
If not, more so. Now, I used to be a big fan of the CIA. I believed the propaganda that the CIA and the intelligence agencies were the good guys. I grew up loving James Bond movies. Even thought about joining the CIA myself upon graduating from Dartmouth College. I spoke with CIA recruiters. I used to think the CIA was doing mostly good work to protect the country from foreign enemies. I was wrong. The CIA sees its primary mission as the control of the American people, including the outcome of our elections. Anything that the CIA sees outside of its control, the CIA doesn't like. Now, the CIA used to be more right-leaning and anti-communist. Today, the CIA is more left-leaning.
I refuse to internalize misguided patriarchal ideas.
It's important to belong to an agency resource group.
Inclusion is a core value here.
It also creates a safe place.
But whether more right-leaning in the 1950s and 1960s or more left-leaning today, the CIA is and has always been primarily motivated by control of the American people. So buckle up for an insane ride. Now, much of the material in this podcast is taken from a great book by Tom O'Neill called Chaos: Charles Manson, the CIA, and the Secret History of the 1960s. And this is a big book. It's about 522 pages. It has like 63 pages of footnotes. Tom O'Neill is a prize-winning investigative journalist, very well respected. And Tom O'Neill worked on this book for more than 20 years, filing Freedom of Information Act requests to get the files on the case. He conducted hundreds of hours of interviews with the key figures. Now, this book has not gotten the attention it deserves because, well, it blows apart the narrative created by the prosecution, led by Los Angeles District Attorney Vincent Bugliosi.
And you're right, Breeze. He never unalived anybody. He even said it in his he's gonna say it in here. It's gonna interview. He gonna be like, I never unalived anyone. You know, prison is in your mind. Prison is in your head. You if you free for you know, it's you know, like the money is backed by what? a military. Like, if y'all want to release me, y'all can release me, but you got a bunch of people telling you to tell me that I got to stay in here. But if the people tell you that I can be free, then I'll be free. Like, hey, Polo Sire, go live. No.
Bugliosi also writes up in his book Helter Skelter. And Bugliosi's book Helter Skelter was pretty much the popularly accepted narrative. But O'Neill's book presents a mountain of evidence that Charles Manson and his cult of followers were the product of the CIA's notorious MK-Ultra mind control experiments. And this was fascinating to me because it fits into my overall theme of the last maybe 8 years or so of the CIA being a truly malevolent and very dangerous organization. And the FBI and Department of Justice have become equally dangerous and malevolent. And they all work together as part of the same cabal. I also put together a video here on how the Unabomber, Ted Kaczynski, was indeed a product of the CIA's MK-Ultra mind control experiments. And we know that from this book here by Dr. Alston Chase. Ted Kaczynski, who became the Unabomber, was a human guinea pig for the CIA's MK-Ultra mind control experiments for 3 years when he was a student at Harvard. Now, Ted Kaczynski was a brilliant mathematician with a measured IQ of 167. And for context, Albert Einstein had an IQ of 160. Ted Kaczynski's was 167. He skipped 2 grades in school and entered Harvard with a full scholarship at the age of 16. And he had a tremendous career ahead of him as the youngest ever assistant professor in mathematics at the University of California at Berkeley. But sadly, Kaczynski allowed himself to be subjected to 3 years of mind control experiments by the CIA's MK-Ultra mind control program when he was a student at Harvard. The CIA's MK-Ultra mind control experiments included the use of LSD on its subjects in combination with amphetamines and other drugs, plus hypnosis, brainwashing, sleep deprivation, solitary confinement, electroshock on the brain, and long periods of abusive interrogation. As a kid from
Low key, don't y'all think he was just going to that clinic to get LSD drugs? Like, why he gotta be like the MK Ultra dude? Like, the chicks, they was pretty. You know what I'm saying? You could get a pretty chick to talk a dude to do anything. You know what I'm saying? Maybe that's just me though. I don't know.
Lombard, Illinois.
I mean, my thinking.
And from a working class background, Ted Kaczynski needed the money. So he agreed to take part in MK-Ultra while a student at Harvard, and quite likely in exchange for his full scholarship to Harvard when he was 16 years old. Now, what exactly was the CIA's MK-Ultra mind control program? Well, MK-Ultra tried to create brainwashed human weapons that could be controlled through drugs, hypnosis, extended periods of brainwashing, and mind control techniques. And the easiest way to visualize this is to watch the classic 1962 movie, The Manchurian Candidate. And this is a great movie, by the way, well worth seeing if you haven't seen it. In this movie, American soldier Robert Shaw was captured during the Korean War, and he was taken to communist China. He was brainwashed during captivity by the communist Chinese to become a sleeper agent in the United States, a human weapon when he returned to the United States.
Captain Marco, will you be good enough to lend Raymond your pistol, please? Shoot Bobby, Raymond.
And the triggering mechanism for him to carry out his assignments was to be shown the Queen of Diamonds. And this would trigger Robert Shaw to carry out whatever assignment was given to him. And then Shaw would immediately forget what he had done after he had completed the task. And Robert Shaw's ultimate assignment was to assassinate.
Speaking of movies, y'all, I'm gonna start having movie night in the Discord. So if y'all don't follow me in the Discord, I'm gonna put the link in the chat. Y'all follow me in the Discord. And the people that don't follow me in the Discord, trust me, it's not a scary thing. We don't dox. We ain't got no secret passageway to the tunnel, to the dungeon where everybody, information, is it down there where they can get doxed. No, we don't do that. Most of the people that's in my chat right now is in my Discord. So, yeah.
The leading candidate for president of the United States. The CIA's MK-Ultra program was launched in 1953 with the goal of creating brainwashed human weapons similar to what we see in the Manchurian Candidate movie. Now we've had 2 assassination attempts against Donald Trump. Were these 2 would-be assassins also products of the CIA? I don't know, but they have all the hallmarks, and we'll get into this later. And this MK-Ultra mind control program first came to public light in 1975 as a result of the Senate committee investigation led by Democrat Senator Frank Church, known as the Church Committee hearings. The files on MK-Ultra were ordered destroyed by CIA Director Richard Helms in 1973. But some files were discovered nevertheless. Now the CIA is supposed to be protecting America from foreign enemies. The CIA is prohibited by its charter and by law from targeting the American people. But that's what MK-Ultra was doing.
Yeah, and then they be going to other countries over there fucking with them people that didn't do a bitch ass thing to them, and then they eventually colonize them because they stay in there so long. We don't pull the military out. We don't pull them out. So now they over there speaking our language, picking up our habits. We done changed their culture. Okay. Let's continue.
Doing. And the CIA continues to do this today, illegally. In his 522-page book with 63 pages of footnotes or endnotes, Tom O'Neill...
And y'all think Charles Manson, little illiterate ass, going to somebody's country, changing the culture, changing the lifestyle, changing the language, changing the food, changing the way they live, changing the environment. Man, y'all don't get the fuck out of here talking. He a CIA what? He just went there to get LSD. He probably just went there to get high. You know how people be like donating plasma to get $40? That's probably like how that was back then. But let's continue.
Presents a mountain of evidence that Charles Manson and his followers were creations of the CIA's MK Ultra program. Now, I really can't do justice to all the evidence that Tom O'Neill presents here in his book because I'd be here talking to you for about 12 hours or longer. But I'll try to hit the high points. Ever since Charles Manson and his followers launched their 2-night home invasion murder spree in August of 1969, killing 9 people over the course of 2 nights, I've been fascinated by Charles Manson. I remember the news accounts vividly, and I've read all the important books on Manson, and became something of an expert on Charles Manson when I was a teenager. I'm not going to go into much detail here on the murders and the trial, except as needed to present a coherent story. The murders and trials are all covered in great detail in many books and documentaries. The 2 most famous being the book Helter Skelter by the prosecutor, the LA District Attorney, Vince Bugliosi, and another great book here called The Family, titled The Family by Ed Sanders. This is another big book. Bugliosi's book, Helter Skelter, reads more like a legal brief. It's more just the prosecution's case, whereas this book by Sanders goes into just a lot of detail about Manson's life and what it was like to be a member of Manson's group, his family of followers, the Manson family. And here was life in the Manson family in 1968 on the Spahn Ranch, 25 miles northwest of Los Angeles.
Who is the one? Yes, I'm looking for the
I don't want to hear none of your damn music. No. So what we not going to do is listen to none of this shit.
Of Spahn ranch hand Donald Shorty Shea on August 26, 1969, 3 weeks after the Tate LaBianca home invasion murders. Manson had Shorty killed because Manson believed that Shorty had reported the family to the police for their crimes.
And he is really rocking out. He really liking this shit. Look at him, y'all. Bro, you supposed... No. 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 And no.
But here's a quick summary of the events that just shocked the nation and really ended the 1960s, ended the LSD-laced hippie movement and the anti-war protests for the most part. First, the Sharon Tate murders, which totaled 5 victims. 6 victims if you count her unborn son, Paul.
That's how they got found, because I guess the beauty queen of 1960, whatever year was, and she was pregnant, 8 months, about to have this white baby, blue-eyed, blonde-haired baby. See, that's why, how y'all gonna say he was in the CIA? They don't target their own. He talking about he was trying to start a race war. You start a race war by targeting a race that you think that, you know what I'm saying? Like, not your own, dummy. Like, okay, let's continue.
Oh, Sharon Tate was 8.5 months pregnant. Sharon Tate was a famous and beautiful 26-year-old actress at the time of her murder, her most memorable movie being The Valley of the Dolls. She was also the wife of the famed film director Roman Polanski, who was on a trip and so wasn't there that night. Roman Polanski is also accused of raping a 10-year-old girl and other children. So he lives in exile and would be arrested if he returned to the United States. But that's not the topic of this video. Other victims at the Tate-Polanski house that night were Abigail Folger, the 25-year-old heiress to the Folger coffee fortune. Another victim was screenwriter and...
Dang, that's messed up. The Folger lady. The Folger lady. How you gonna kill the coffee lady? Hey, that's terrible.
Actor Wojciech Frykowski. Also a celebrity hairstylist named Jay Sebring. And 18-year-old Stephen Parent. Now, Charles Manson was not in attendance for this slaughter, but he ordered it, or so says the prosecution. And I think he probably did. And Manson knew the house because he had a relationship with the Beach Boys record producer, Terry Melcher, who had promised Charlie a record deal. Melcher had been the previous tenant of that house. The Polanski Tate house was a center of social activity for the Hollywood...
I'm pretty sure he had his mind also because he was on LSD. He was on LSD. Like I could just go over there and get free LSD, whatever the drug of choice was then, and you just go over there and let them, stick you with needles like you do at the plasma place for $40. I mean, they don't give you, they just take your plasma, your red or white or whatever blood cells they take at the plasma place. It was like that in the 60s. But then they give you LSD. They tried it, but he wasn't a good candidate. That's what I think. That's my conjecture. Honestly, I don't even think that he was. Let's continue.
Literati. Manson ordered his followers to invade the house and kill everyone in it in as gruesome a way as possible. Manson's top henchman was Tex Watson. He went in armed with a pistol. The women had knives. On his way onto the property, Tex Watson shot and killed 18-year-old Stephen Parent, who was in his car in the driveway. Parent was visiting a friend in the guest house on the property. Stephen Parent just happened to be in the wrong place at the wrong time. Stephen Parent was a witness, so he had to go. So Tex Watson bludgeoned and stabbed Stephen Parent multiple times and then shot him 4 times. Watson was big and athletic, 6'2", and he had been captain of his high school football team in Texas. Tex Watson was Charles Manson's enforcer. Watson and 2 of the girls entered through the house by cutting a screen in an open window. The 2 girls being Susan Atkins and Patricia Krenwinkel. A third.
Speaking of going to the little clinic to get your LSD meds, they say now that they have places where heroin addicts or I think heroin addicts can like get clean needles to shoot up. So what's the difference between then and now? There, it was safe. You go in the clinic, you go get your LSD. You had them people thinking that you about to be an MK Ultra, but you just want to get high because the drugs is really good at a clinic. I think. I don't know. Let's continue.
Third woman, Linda Kasabian, waited outside as a lookout. Tex Watson assembled the victims in the living room at gunpoint. Watson began tying Sharon Tate and Sebring together by their necks with a rope. He threw the rope over a ceiling beam. He was apparently going to hang them. Sebring struggled to get away, so Watson shot him and stabbed him 7 times. Abigail Folger fled to the bedroom. She was tracked down by Patricia Krenwinkel. Abigail offered Krenwinkel what cash she had in her wallet. She managed to free herself from Krenwinkel and run out the bedroom door to the outside. But Krenwinkel ran her down, tackled Abigail near the swimming pool, and started stabbing her. Tex Watson then came out to finish the job. Abigail was stabbed 28 times. Meanwhile, Wojciech Frykowski managed to free himself while Susan Atkins was keeping watch. She started stabbing him. He managed to crawl out the front door despite many stabs.
How he let a bitch stab him? Bruh. He had to been yagged. How you let a bitch stab you? She didn't have a gun. She had a knife. Not a knife, a knife. Stab the fuck out of you. Okay, kept on. Like, bruh.
Wounds from Atkins. Watson caught up with him on the front porch, beat him on the head with his gun, shot him twice, and stabbed him many times. And finally, Sharon Tate was stabbed 16 times.
Yes. That's it. You have to read between the lines. They kept going to this clinic and they keep trying to say that, oh, this clinic was funded by MK Ultra and they da-da-da-da. That's all well and good because our FDA, we got all kinds of shit that's funded by some shit that, you know what I'm saying? But that don't mean shit. You know what I'm saying? Okay. Anywho, no cussing in this live. Try not to cuss. But at the end of the day, if you can get free drugs, once you go over there and pretend, you know how them people be acting like they mentally, like when they be going to the what they call it, MRMH, mental health rehabilitation something's MHR something, right? And they go there pretending like they crazy so they can get a check. So why can't he go to the clinic, pretend like I want to be your little funky soldier? First of all, Charles Manson ain't listening to nobody but him. How is he going to be anybody MK Ultra or anything? And if he was an MK Ultra soldier, what is he preparing for? Who is he fighting for? Because every time you see him in the news, he's killing white people. And he's a whole freaking racist. Dude had a whole swastika imprinted in his forehead, my guy. But he killing his own people. What are we talking about?
By Susan Atkins and probably Tex Watson. Susan Atkins then wrote pig on the front door with Sharon Tate's blood. Charlie thought they had screwed up the slaughter because they had entered the house with inadequate weaponry. Tex only had a pistol, the girls' knives, and they had not written the correct messages on the walls with the blood of the victims. So Charlie would go along on the next slaughter, which would be the following night, to show them how to do it correctly. The next night included 4 killers from the previous night, plus Charles Manson, Leslie Van Houten, and Clem Grogan. They arrived at the home of grocery store executive Lino LaBianca and his wife, Rosemary LaBianca. According to Watson's testimony, Lino was sleeping on the sofa. Manson woke him up at gunpoint. Rosemary LaBianca was awakened in the bedroom by Watson and
Notice none of these people are black.
brought into the living room, and the couple was tied up. Pillowcases were
None of these people he killed are black.
put over their heads. Manson then left the house, with Atkins, Kasabian, and Grogan. Watson, Van Houten, and Krenwinkel stayed to finish the job. Leslie Van Houten stabbed Rosemary LaBianca 16 times. Patricia Krenwinkel stabbed Lino 14 times and left a steak knife in his throat. And Tex Watson delivered multiple stabbings with a bayonet. In all, the couple was stabbed 41 times. Using the blood of the victims, Krenwinkel wrote "Rise" and "Death to Pigs" on the walls, and the phrase "Helter Skelter" on the refrigerator door. Manson wanted to make the slaughters look like the work of the Black Panthers. His idea was to trigger a race war between blacks and whites. At least that was the prosecution's theory of the case.
Well, this was a definition of helter-skelter that Charlie gave. Now, if you look at this white...
He wanted to start a race war. Like, what? Anybody with a brain? And what is this? Like 50 years later? What was this, in the 60s? So we're at 25 now? Oh, gosh. Like, bro. Black people, y'all stay y'all ass out of these people business. Whatever they got going on, let them have that going on. Let them have that, okay? Whatever they got going on, let them have that. This ain't got nothing to do with us. Let's continue.
Album. It's a Beatles album. There are many other songs. One of them is called Sexy Sadie. Sadie Glutz, also known as Susan Atkins, whatever you want to call her. She thought that the Beatles named this song after her. There's also a song called Piggies. There's also a song...
What is it in the Helter Skelter song?
Nothing particularly in that song right there, except the definition that Manson gave of it. There's another song in that same album called Blackbirds, talking about blackbirds fixing their wings and rising up. Charles Manson said the blackbird meant the...
You see how he just skipped over that, bro? Helter Skelter was his thing, so he couldn't even explain it. He just tied some shit in and it have nothing to do with us. Hold on. We got to rewind that back. Helter Skelter was like, the fuck is you talking about?
Well, this was a definition of helter-skelter that Charlie gave. Now, if you look at this white album, it's a Beatles album. There are many other songs. One of them is called Sexy Sadie.
No. We talking about Helter Skelter, though. No, don't change the subject. We talking about Helter Skelter. What does Helter Skelter mean? Why the fuck would he put Helter Skelter, kill somebody and write Helter Skelter in their blood on their refrigerator? Why would he do that? Don't change the subject. This dude right here. Who is this dude?
Sadie Glutz, also known as Susan Atkins, whatever you want to call her. She thought that the Beatles named this song after her. There's also a song called Piggies.
No. We talking about Helter Skelter. You see how people, boy, media train.
There's also a song...
What is it in the Helter Skelter song?
Nothing particularly in...
See, he don't want to answer that question. We specifically talking about Helter Skelter. We ain't talking about Piggies. We ain't talking about none of that shit you talking about. We talking about Helter Skelter, sir. Fuck is you talking about? Because you ain't talking about what we talking about.
That song right there, except the definition that Manson gave of it. There's another song in that same album called Blackbirds, talking about blackbirds fixing their wings and rising up. Charles Manson said the blackbird meant the black man. To ignite Helter Skelter, to start the black-white revolution, Manson envisioned that white people would turn against the black man if they thought the black man had committed these 7 murders, and ultimately there would be a civil war between blacks and whites out on the street. Manson told his followers that this would be a bloodbath in the streets of every American city. Manson foresaw that the black man would win this war. But later on, he said the black man, because of inexperience, would simply not be able to handle the reins of power. So we would have to look around at those white people who had survived, who had escaped from Helter Skelter. In other words, turn over the reins of power to Charles Manson and his family.
What does Helter Skelter mean?
Well, where does it come from? To Charles Manson, Helter Skelter means the black man rising up against the white establishment and murdering the entire white race.
Oh! No, because guess what? He's the one that's actually been killing his own race, his own kind. Y'all seen all these people he done unalived? Do any of them look black to you? Mister, I'm trying to start a race war?
It is with the exception of Charlie and his family, who intended to escape to the desert and live in the bottomless pit, a place that he got from Revelation 9, which is the last book of the New Testament.
And why did the murders take place?
He envisioned that he and his family would be the ultimate beneficiaries of a black-white civil war.
Why LaBiancas and the persons in the Tate House? Why were they selected by Manson as victims?
Well, you have to realize that if you're going to have a bizarre motive like this, it doesn't really make any difference who the victims are. except the victims by necessity have to be white and preferably.
No, it does make a difference who the victims are. You trying to start a race war? Why the fuck would you kill your own kind? Stupid.
In the white establishment. But other than that, there was no particular reason.
The girls really believe he's Jesus Christ reincarnated.
There is evidence that they actually believe that Charles Manson is Jesus Christ.
Now, obviously, this entire vision was insane, but Manson's followers believed it, and they saw Charlie as their messiah. We don't actually know what Charlie believed. He was too intelligent probably to really believe any of this nonsense.
But as far as lining up someone for some kind of helter-skelter trip, that's the district attorney's motive. That's the only thing he could find for a motive to throw up on top of all that confusion he had. There was no such thing in my mind as helter-skelter. Helter-skelter was a song, and it was a nightclub. We opened up a little after-hours nightclub to make some money and play some music and do some dancing and singing and play some stuff to make some money for dune buggies to go out in the desert. And we called the club Helter Skelter. It was a Helter Skelter club because we would be there, and when the cops would come, we'd all melt into other dimensions because it wasn't licensed to be anything in particular. And it was kind of like a speakeasy back in the moonshine days behind the movie set.
The book Helter Skelter.
Right.
You said that there are a lot of things wrong with it. What's wrong with it?
Well, the book's all right. Got good paper and all in it. All this paper comes from trees. It's a shame to waste all your trees writing this trash for your children to be raised up in. Do you want your children to live according to the gospel of Helter Skelter?
Where are the inaccuracies in it?
Well,
this dude made his own religion. That's a bad motherfucker. You make your own religion, Arabia. Are you listening to me? You make your own religion. And people followed him, believed in him. And his works, and his words, and his teachings. He ain't nobody CIA. Look, he was just trying to get drugs. I don't care what none of y'all say. Whoever done, but he was trying to get drugs. Think about it, bro. You live next door to the drugstore. They say he was 5'3", so that means he had to have the gift of gab to not get his ass whooped when he was in prison. He had the gift of, he was 5'3". 5'3". He's a freaking cult leader. He's 5'3". Come on. He has the gift of gab. You think he got mind control, MK Ultra, CIA, anybody? He think he's a fucking god. You think anybody can god him? Bro, the government repulsed him. You think the government gonna get in his mind and make him do anything? Come on, y'all. Y'all can't. Come on, y'all. Come on.
it would take me as long as it took him to point them out. It took him 2 years in court to invent them. It would take me 2 years in court to uninvent them and redo them and show the proper perspective of it.
Bugliosi.
Yeah. Helter Skelter simply means confusion. And if you don't see the confusion in the world, there's always been confusion in the world, then I guess you don't know what confusion means.
Did they make up the evidence introduced in court?
A big percentage of it they found and created themselves. And I wasn't even there. All we wanted to do to start with was tell the truth, but the lawyers wouldn't let us because they wanted to sell it. We just wanted to tell the truth, but they didn't want the truth to come out because you couldn't write books with the truth, couldn't make big money, couldn't sell all this madness.
Did y'all know he was illiterate? Bro, like, you gotta respect the man. He was illiterate. He been to prison so many freaking times. He went to prison and learned how to read and became him. He became him.
All the fear and the vicarious thrill for somebody.
Charlie, regardless of Helter Skelter, do you belong behind bars?
There's no behind bars.
Do you belong in prison?
There's no prison. It's only in your mind. If everybody agrees to let me go, then I'll walk out, and then I'll be free. And my chains are in everybody's mind. It's in their will. If you will me to be locked up, then I must stay locked up. If you will me to be free, then I'll be free. It's not as complicated to me as it is to you. You look at it through the books and the paperwork. I don't look at it that way. I look at it from the way I look at it. So I'll ask you the same question. Do you think you deserve to be locked up somewhere?
First of all, man, you had did something to get locked up. What is you talking about? You talking about, do you deserve to be locked? Yeah, you deserve to be locked up, sir. Yes, you deserve to be locked up. I don't care. Oh, I didn't do it. I didn't kill nobody. I didn't put no hands on nobody. I didn't grape nobody. I didn't SO nobody. Like, bruh, but you talk people into doing this, so you the mastermind of it. You are the worst of the worst. Cause why would you think like that? Why would your mental even, you know what I'm saying? What were we talking about last week, y'all? People can do great things. People be having this cult, right? They be having a cult. They be having followers. They be having people that believe in them. And it's like, they'll do anything for these people. And it's like, and you chose to do that. You chose to use your power to do that, bruh. Bruh, I'm dead.
Asking the questions in the interview. Can I do it?
Well, certainly, but you have to ask yourself at the same time.
I realize that.
You know, if justice came, where would we all be? We'd all be in some sort of trouble, wouldn't we? That's why we have Jesus. See, he takes up the slack. Linda Kasabian, for example, she'd only been at the ranch a couple of weeks. I'd seen her maybe twice. You know, like I never paid that much attention to the people that came and went at that ranch. They just came and went as they chose.
So you're saying he's took a few pieces of truth
and messed it with his ability to play with words in colleges and books and things, and he wanted to impress someone with all the things he's learned. And
I respect that though, bro. Learn how to read. Not only did he learn how to read, he learned how to read people. He learned how to read people. He was such a master manipulator, y'all. Y'all. Yeah, you still didn't start that little race war that you wanted to start, little funky boy.
Wanted some attention, and he wanted to be all the things in the movies, you know, so he played his part. And I wasn't allowed to play my part. I was only allowed to sit down and be the figure that was dragged off into the hole all the time, because he had the money behind him, because he said he had the people behind him. But that's another thing that's wrong with your court system. Your court system's not based on the will of the people, it's based on the will of the money. So your courts are not really protecting anything but the money. It doesn't have much concern for the people anymore.
I've got curiosity. Can I ask you a question? Remember you had an X years ago and you changed it now to a swastika?
No, I never changed. It's been the same thing all the way along.
Wasn't it always an X?
No, it never was.
What's it stand for?
It stands for whatever I mean it to stand for, and whatever I make it stand for, and whatever I want it to stand for.
But you didn't one time say you were Xing yourself out?
No, that was your newspapers that gave you that.
What does it stand for you?
It stands for many things. And it would take 2 or 3 weeks to explain all the things that I've built.
Can you give me an example?
In the image. Certainly, I can give you an example of the United States flag of America.
The swastika?
The rising sun in the Japanese flag. The Star of David to the Israelis. Whatever country or nation or people or cause has always had a symbol.
And that's your symbol?
That's mine. I put that there from 2 or 3 other symbols. I didn't want to put a Christian.
He made his own little symbol and he implanted it in his forehead. I'm dead. And listen to all the symbols. The David Star, the Jewish. It's all the same. It means all the same to him, to everybody. Listen, y'all. And y'all talking about he MK Ultra. But at the end of the day, what they trying to do, y'all? If it's MK Ultra, what they trying to do? Hold on, let me go back a little bit. What does that sign mean on your forehead that's implanted on you? You could have made a heart, a purple heart. Why you didn't put a purple heart in the middle of your forehead?
And that's your symbol?
That's mine. I put that there from 2 or 3 other symbols. I didn't want to put a Christian symbol, and I didn't want to put an Antichrist symbol, and I didn't want to put a pro-communism, and I didn't want to put an anti-thermoflap and all that kind of stuff that you play.
But it is a swastika. That would be Germany, wouldn't it?
No, that's not a Nazi. Hitler got that sign from mysticism and reversed it. He did the same thing, only he did it backwards. You know, it's the thought still here, just like the thought that he picked up was there when he picked it up. The thought has always been here. It's been here since the pyramids have been here, since David.
The thought has always been here. What thought? What thought? What thought? What thought is he talking about? The thought has always been here. Like Gandhi. Gandhi was a fucking racist. Did he say Gandhi? Pretty sure he said Gandhi. Was that his name? We call him Gandhi. Was that his real name? Hold on.
The thought has always been here. The thought that he did the same thing, only he did it backwards. Mysticism and reversed it. He did the same thing, only he did it backwards. You know, it's the thought still here, just like the thought that he picked up was there when he picked it up. The thought has always been here. It's been here since the pyramids have been here, since David.
There are mixed reviews, but oh yeah, I've heard mixed reviews. Y'all, I just want y'all to hear Gundy, and then we gonna continue. Hold
I
on.
want to put an anti-thermos Christ symbol, and I didn't 2-3 other symbols. I didn't want to put a Christian symbol, and I didn't want to put an anti-Christ symbol, and I didn't want to put a pro-communism, and I didn't want to put an anti-thermos flop-dops and all that kind of stuff that you play.
But it is a swastika. That would be Germany, wouldn't it?
No, that's not a Nazi. Hitler got that sign from mysticism and reversed it. He did the same thing, only he did it backwards.
But why even use that sign though? Why not make up your own sign? Like just J, my brand. Look, I'm gonna figure it out. Look, it's gonna be a purple heart somewhere. Okay. But why you got a swastika? Like, just do your own shit. Like, you've been doing your own shit. So, I mean, I get it. Okay, the Star of David and this and that and all that and all that. You know the history. But why would you use a swastika? Why? We call it a swastika. It's called different things in different regions and areas. You know, it's called the Star of David. It's called a swastika. It's called the this. It's called the implanted in his fucking forehead. He should have got a purple heart. And maybe, you know, he wouldn't be a mass manipulator killer, sir.
You know, it's the thought still here, just like the thought that he picked up was there when he picked it up. The thought has always been here. It's been here since the pyramids have been here, since David and the giant, since the whole thing's always been here. And every once in a while, there's a guy like Gandhi that comes and picks it up. Or there's a guy like Paharasha Yogananda, or somebody coming out of some prison, or somebody doing something, and they pick it up for a while, and they carry it for a few steps, and then when they're gone, you say, oh, what a good guy he was. But while he's here, he's always just no good at all, you know.
Manson's IQ in prison was measured at 121, even though he was almost illiterate because he never attended school. But Manson's followers definitely believed in the helter-skelter vision laid out by Charlie, and he had total mind control over his followers. It's believed that Manson and his family of followers committed at least 24 murders, and some believe 35 murders. They were convicted of 9 murders. But one aspect of the Manson murders is that their savagery bore no resemblance to the histories of the people involved in these murders. Now, true, Charlie had an extensive criminal background. Charles Manson was born to a 16-year-old runaway named Kathleen Maddox in Cincinnati, Ohio. He never met his father. Charlie adopted the last name Manson after one of his mom's boyfriends. His mom was a substance abuser and an alcoholic, and was convicted of armed robbery. She was given a 10-year prison sentence. She served 5 years of that. Charlie lived for a while with his uncle, but it was too much for him, and he was bounced around to assorted foster care homes, but he was always in trouble. Charlie's first stint in juvenile detention was at the age of 9, for setting fire to his school. For a time, Charlie did try to hold down a steady job as a teen delivering messages for Western Union, but he continued to supplement his income with burglaries, and he was caught. A sympathetic judge sent Manson to Boys Town in Nebraska when Charlie was 13, but after just 4 days there, Manson and a friend escaped. They stole a car, obtained a gun, and committed 2 armed robberies. Manson was arrested 2 weeks later. He was linked also to 2 other robberies. So young Manson was then sent to a very rough reform school in Terre Haute, Indiana, that was run by Catholic priests, called Jabalt School for Boys. And discipline included brutal beatings by the staff. Now Manson was short. He was 5'2", even as an adult. And at this reform school in Indiana, Manson was repeatedly beaten and raped with the encouragement of a staff member. Manson escaped from this reform school 18 times. While at this reform school, Manson developed a self-defense technique that he called the insane game, where he would scream, yell, and flail his arms wildly and pretend that he was insane. And this seemed to work pretty well. Manson finally escaped the Indiana facility with 2 other boys in February of 1951. They robbed gas stations while driving stolen cars and headed to California, but they were arrested in Utah. Manson was placed in the National Training School for Boys in Washington, D.C., in the federal system. The psychiatrist assessed Manson as aggressively antisocial. After a short time there, in 1951, Manson was transferred to the
I'll be antisocial too, because these motherfuckers ain't about a bitch ass thing.
Natural Bridge Honor Camp in Petersburg, Virginia. And he was visited there by his aunt.
Did they even say how he grew up? Are they? Oh yeah, okay, he about to get into it now. Okay, so y'all, this is where my question, I don't know if y'all saw my question, it's in the chat, my little ticker, what traits do cult leaders have in common? Last week we did Jim Jones. This week we're doing Charles Manson. Hopefully it don't be a 2-part series, but if it do, we're going to get into it. What traits do these people have in common? Look, I can list 3 right now, but I ain't finna tell y'all bitch ass thing. Y'all got to watch the story. Let's continue.
She told officials he could stay at her house and she would help him find a job. Manson was 16 years old by this point. The problem was that 2 weeks before young Charlie's parole hearing, 16-year-old Manson sodomized another boy at knife point. And this was Charlie's most violent act prior to the murder.
I know you fucking lying. Y'all heard? Okay. I don't remember Jim Jones doing nothing like that, but let's continue. Yeah.
Of 1969 that we know about. And he was still pretty much a kid then, age 16. Manson was then transferred to an even tougher reform camp for youth called
Young Riaz, I'm an introvert all day, every day. Like what you see, what you hear on this interconnects in real life, though, I'm nice, but I'm not so nice. If you heard my birthday live, I'm really not so nice. When I feel like I'm being disrespected or whatever, like no. I've lost a lot of friends because I feel like you disrespected me, you gonna get disrespected. Like maybe we could come to a, but baby, if I feel disrespected, I promise you're gonna get disrespected right the fuck back. Let's continue.
Called the Federal Reformatory. Also,
not you, Young Riaz, not you. I'm just telling my story.
In Petersburg, Virginia. So Charlie was far from a model citizen as a Ute. But as an adult, the prison system classified Charlie Manson as nonviolent. And even Manson's prosecutor, LA District Attorney Vince Bugliosi, wrote that Manson had no sustained history of violence. Let's listen to Manson describe his youth at a 1992 parole hearing.
Do I get a minute here in between there?
What do you want a minute?
To respond to just what that record that you laid out there?
We'll go back to that.
There's no way my mind can handle that.
All right.
In other words, I don't have the papers you have, and I can't refer to what you're referring to.
Yes, you may respond to this right now.
Okay.
Go ahead.
What that whole first 11 years being locked up in was trying to get away. You got.
Ain't no fucking way I'm going. If I was on the parole board, bro, you got a whole swastika. Like, is that a tattoo? That ain't even a dollar sign. You got a whole swastika in your imprinted in your fucking forehead. And I'm on the parole board. I'm black as shit. Like, nigga, what that mean? Oh, it's the blood of Jesus. It's the Star of David. Oh, it's the Jews. Like, man, shut the fuck up, nigga. You got 10 more years. Fuck out of here. Die in prison. I don't give a fuck. Fuck you.
A juvenile. You lock him up in juvenile hall. He don't know anything. He's got no parents. He's got nobody telling him the truth. Everybody's lying to him. So the only thing he can do is run away. So that's all I did. I ran away. And every time I ran away, they just got me and put me in a harder place to get away. So.
And I know I keep pausing y'all because I got to do my commentary. But, bro, I bet who he sodomized, bet you wasn't a black boy.
Every time I would run away, they would take me and put me in a more difficult place to run away until I got to the federal prison system. I ran through Indiana, and I ran through Illinois, and I ran through Ohio. And then when they put me in Washington, D.C., Dr. Hartman put me in Virginia, Natural Bridge Camp with the moon, and that was in 1951. Then I went to Petersburg, Camp Petersburg, Virginia, where they got the military academy. And then I went to Pennsylvania. And then I went to Ohio. And in 1954, I got out. And I really didn't know what I was doing. I was still 9 years old in third grade in my mind. I couldn't very well know what was going on. I never had any help from anyone. No one ever done anything for me. So what I did was I married the first girl I came to and stole a car and came to California because that's where she wanted to come. And I just followed her around like a blind guy because I really knew California was, I didn't know what California was. It's a dumb hillbilly. I thought the pigeons were seagulls and the seagulls were pigeons. I didn't know the difference, So when I got to California, it was all about fighting in the county jail. I wasn't out on the street but maybe 2 or 3 weeks before they had me in the jail back in Terminal Island. So I went through the lieutenant there, and they brought the guys, the lieutenants, and the men that were in the uniform from the dentist office and all the Navy and the doctors from Dr. Hartman. They brought them from back east. They brought them to Terminal Island with a lot of the old-time gangsters that were being released as going to Needles, California, and out in the deserts and doing different things in the mafia world and that old underworld where they made all the moonshine and stuff. So I learned all the things they learned. So I'm picking up all these things from all these older men. So they're laying out to me what's right and what's wrong. And I don't really know what's right and what's wrong because people that say what's right and wrong, they're not doing what they say. They're doing something different than what they say, So I had to find all this out for myself. So then when you keep calling me a criminal and keep calling me a bad guy because I don't have no parents, because I don't have no money, because I don't have no education. You got to have education or some parents or you're not smart. You got to be stupid if you don't read and write. You got to be all the things that are bad if you ain't got nobody to protect you because you find out in that cell the only person that loves you is Jesus Christ. And that rebirth movement in 1967 was mine. Now you can tell Carter and all them other people that's been stealing my life every day and living in my reality, that they could read Corinthians 13 chapter verse, that'll handle that part of it. That's the end of what I got to say there.
You did a good job there.
Basically, Manson did what he needed to do to survive. He did not like to engage in physical confrontations. He's only 5'2", so he tried to avoid physical conflict. Aside from the constant burglaries and car...
Damn, I gave him an inch. Damn, he my height. Nigga, you my height. You think you gonna fucking transform me and make me think I believe anything the fuck you say? First of all, okay. So the bitch was taller than him?
Car theft. Another reason Manson spent...
The bitches that was killing for him was taller than him. Had to be. I could never, dude, that's my height.
so much time in prison is he just wouldn't follow the rules of his probations and his parole. He just wouldn't stick around the jurisdiction as is required of parolees unless they get permission. So he was constantly being sent back to prison. Charlie just wasn't a rule follower. But for the most part, he was thought to be nonviolent until the summer of 1969. And even then, he wasn't physically present at the murders. Susan Atkins was the only Manson follower who had a criminal record before meeting Manson. When she was 18, she was working as a stripper in Los Angeles. And Atkins was arrested with 2 felons in a stolen car. The 2 felons had been committing a string of armed robberies of gas stations, and Atkins was the driver. She was ultimately convicted of possession of stolen goods and carrying a concealed weapon. She was put on 3 years probation. But even Atkins grew up in a middle-class home, middle-class family near San Jose, California. She sung in the church choir. And when her mom was dying of cancer, Atkins arranged for the church choir to sing Christmas carols outside Atkins' mom's bedroom window. Atkins was living with some friends in kind of a group house in LA when she was working as a stripper. And she met Manson in 1967 when she came home one night and found Manson in the living room playing the guitar with her roommates listening. And like others, she fell under Manson's spell. Manson invited her to go on a road trip in a converted school bus that they had painted black. And that was it. Atkins was then in the Manson family. Patricia Krenwinkel also...
That's as much as the race war he was gonna do. That nigga was gonna fuck that bus up. Got me fucked up, bus.
grew up in a middle-class family in Los Angeles. She taught Sunday school, was thinking about becoming a nun. She attended a Jesuit college called Spring Hill College in Mobile, Alabama. Leslie Van Houten was from a church-going family in a suburb of L.A. and was the homecoming princess at her high school. She ran away from home to become a hippie. She lived for a while in a hippie commune in Northern California where she met Bobby Beausoleil, who would become one of Manson's future killers. Beausoleil would later take part in the torture and killing of Gary Hinman on July 31st, 1969, shortly before the Tate LaBianca murders. Hinman was killed over money and property that Manson said Hinman owed the family. And Hinman was tortured for 3 days prior to being stabbed to death multiple times. Susan Atkins and Mary Brunner were present at the killing. And Tex Watson, the worst of the Manson family in terms of sheer violence, was a model citizen until he hooked up with Charlie. Watson was a high school football star in Texas. He was captain of his football team. He set a high school record for the high hurdles. He was the editor of the school newspaper. He attended church every Sunday. Watson grew up in a good Christian family. He attended the University of North Texas, where he was a fraternity.
That's crazy because a lot of these cult members they come from 2-parent backgrounds. The members, this dude and the chicks, they came from 2-parent backgrounds. One of them, I think, I was prom queen of King High School. Like, and you following this 5'2" nigga around to do what? To be a hippie? Baby, you could be a hippie all by yourself. Okay, let's continue.
Fraternity member. And Watson would often travel to Los Angeles to visit a fraternity brother friend. And after one of his trips to California, he announced to his parents that he was moving to California. And here's how Watson met Manson. One day in the spring of 1968, he picked up a hitchhiker who happened to be Dennis Wilson of the Beach Boys. He was the drummer for the legendary Beach Boys band. Pretty odd. Dennis Wilson of the Beach Boys was hitchhiking for some reason. But actually, hitchhiking was very common in those days. I hitchhiked all the time as a teenager throughout the 1970s. It was common back then. Dennis Wilson invited Tex Watson to his mansion. And when Tex arrived, Charlie Manson was there, along with many of Manson's followers. Manson and his followers had moved in with Wilson and were living there. And it was a never-ending party at Dennis Wilson's house. I'll get back to Charlie's relationship with Dennis Wilson and the Beach.
Hey, they probably was having Diddy parties. Then, man, look, ain't no black people in sight. Race war where? MK Ultra where?
Boys in a bit, because that story is fascinating. But a key point to hold in mind is that, other than Susan Atkins and Manson himself, all of Manson's key followers had no history of violence or serious criminal activity prior to joining Manson. They were all runaways from middle-class families. They had good backgrounds. They just wanted to become hippies. And when these kids arrived in Haight-Ashbury, San Francisco, they were there for the vibes, the love, the music, the LSD, the weed, and the endless party. So how did these kids become crazed zombie-like killers who would kill in the most savage and bloodthirsty way imaginable at Charlie's command? Yes, Charlie was a charismatic and captivating character, but that really doesn't explain it. In March of 1967, Charlie was released from McNeil Island Federal Penitentiary in Washington State. He had served 7 years of a 10-year prison sentence for trying to pass a stolen $43 tax refund check. An extraordinary amount of time for such an offense. A $43 forged check. 7 years in a federal penitentiary for that. And I suspect that Charlie was selected here at McNeil Island at the McNeil Island Federal Prison for the CIA's MK-Ultra mind control experiments. Manson was the perfect candidate for MK-Ultra. He had no family who would miss him. Manson was ordered to move to Haight-Ashbury, San Francisco as a condition of his parole. And the government gave him a pretty nice apartment at 636 Cole Street. Here it is. And Susan Atkins, Patricia Krenwinkel, and Mary Brunner would later...
Well, that looked like a nice little place, but that still don't prove how whatever he took. Ooh, excuse me, y'all. Excuse me. That's a nice little place in Cali. It looked like a nice little quaint place in Cali, because Cali ain't got nobody's space. Y'all charge all that rent, all that, and all that. Y'all ain't got nobody's space. But continue. Now, the LSD place is like right down the street around the corner, I think. I don't know.
Move into that apartment with Manson when he began assembling his followers. And Manson's apartment, and this is key, was just 2 blocks away from the Haight-Ashbury Free Medical Clinic, where Manson and the girls were a near constant presence. The Haight-Ashbury Free Medical Clinic was funded by the National Institute for Mental Health, which also...
Yeah. That's nice. Look, we funded by a lot of shit too. Look, Elon is probably funded the moon. Does that mean I support Elon or Tesla's or whatever? You know what I'm saying? He lived 2 blocks from from the drugs that he, come on, y'all. MK Ultra, really? Charles Manson. It's just like people are saying OJ was just going around killing people. OJ, y'all. OJ Simpson, orange juice, man, y'all crazy.
Funded the CIA's MK-Ultra mind control experiments. Charlie Manson's parole officer was named Roger Smith. Roger Smith had been a federal parole officer, but he became a parole officer in San Francisco County, so he could earn his PhD in criminology with an emphasis on psychiatry at the University of California at Berkeley. And when Roger Smith was not doing his job as a parole officer, he was working at the Haight-Ashbury Free Medical Clinic. Now, normally a San Francisco parole officer has anywhere from 100 to 250 cases that they have to oversee, parolees that they have to meet with regularly and track and monitor. Now, some might have as few as 40 if they're handling especially intensive cases. And that was true for Roger Smith for a while. But Roger Smith ended up with just one case, one felon in his portfolio, that being Charles Manson. Roger Smith's ostensible full-time job was as a parole officer, so his full-time job was overseeing Charles Manson, even though Charles Manson at this point was just a low-level criminal. Manson had just spent 7 years at McNeil Island Penitentiary for trying to pass a stolen $43 check. How can a full-time parole officer have just one parolee with a low-level criminal record to keep track of? But that was the case for Roger Smith, who spent most of his time at the Haight-Ashbury Free Medical Clinic, even though he was being paid as a full-time parole officer. And Roger Smith would almost always see Manson at the clinic, not at his parole officer office. And Charlie would almost always bring his women with him, Atkins, Krenwinkel, and Brunner. And Tom O'Neill also discovered that Roger Smith's work with...
Bro, because they trying to get high. What the fuck is you talking about? Oh, see Charles Manson and his women. Because they trying to get high. What? Is it just me? Okay, am I tripping? I just saw Charles Manson and going to this clinic that's funded by the MK Ultra people. First of all, how do y'all know they funded by MK? How do y'all know that? Y'all didn't know that in the 60s. Y'all didn't know that. Eventually, you learn later, okay, and it just so happened, okay. Back to Charles Manson and his flock of, peoples, his flock. Why the fuck they gotta be MK Ultra just because they gonna happen to go to a free clinic? First of all, they're going to the free clinic because they was at that goddamn what they call that shit? In California? Y'all help me. It started with a C. Coachella. I don't know if it was called Coachella then. But they was licking and sucking and fucking on each other, and they was nasty. And they probably got bums like every week. And that's probably why they went to the free clinic. I mean, I don't know.
Charlie Manson was also funded by the National Institute for Mental Health as part of what was called the San Francisco Project. This was an experimental project that involved rehabilitation therapies and treatments for newly released felons. And there were at least 6 other parole officers known to be affiliated with this San Francisco.
Oh shit, I saw a nigga. Y'all see that nigga? I saw him too. Ha ha ha. They didn't kill you.
Cisco project. Now, the Haight-Ashbury Free Medical Clinic was set up by a man named Dr. David E. Smith, no relation to Roger Smith. He said,
The John Show, you heard me? I tried to play your music in the beginning. I tried to play your music. I need you to do me a favor. I need you to send me a beat. I have 2 beats that I like from you. I need you to say my name when you send it to me, please and thank you. And I'll probably play it after this video. I'll play it. Somebody must told you, like, just Jay been looking for you. I need you to send me like 2 beats. Well, I'll tell you what I need.
set up the clinic in the spring of 1967, exactly when Charles Manson arrived in Haight-Ashbury, and right before the famed Summer of Love of 1967 in Haight-Ashbury.
You larger, and one pill makes you small.
It's also more than a bit interesting that the rise of the LSD culture, the Summer of Love, and all the craziness in Haight-Ashbury coincided exactly with the founding of this clinic. And be sure to keep this fact in mind. This medical clinic was launched with a grant from the National Institute for Mental Health, which also funded MK Ultra. And there was an enormous surge in violence in the Haight-Ashbury area during this period, including rapes, robberies, assaults, and 8 murders. And the Zodiac Killer was linked to 5 murders in the San Francisco area in the late 1960s, so right during this period.
I shall wipe out a school bus some morning, shoot out the tires, and then pick off the kiddies as they come bounding out. That was the threat of the Zodiac Killer. Now, every day, police cars follow the buses, which would be likely targets.
That area had never seen that level of murder and mayhem before. Back to David E. Smith. And I'll quote from David E. Smith on his background. Quote, I went to UC Berkeley from 1958 to 1960. Then I went to the University of San Francisco Medical School from 1960 to 1964.
I mean, he went to medical school. Of course, he gonna dibble and dabble and do. But what does that have to do with the man being a MK Ultra? He's a soldier. To do what? Y'all asking me about, have you seen this movie? Have you seen that movie? But in the movie, they had a the demolition man, or no, he wasn't MK Ultra, but that you was asking me about a movie earlier. It's like he had a goal. He had a set goal. Charles Manson goal was to start a race war. So why was he killing his own people? MK Ultra would never told him to do that. Y'all, I have my notes. Trust me. I have my handy dandy notebook and we can get into it. But I don't know why y'all keep saying that, man. Just because he went to the goddamn facility. It's just like, oh, this is a great point. And then I'm going to get back to it. It's like the abortion clinic is inside the same clinic that my OB-GYN is. So people see me going to my OB-GYN, they think that I'm getting an abortion type shit. You know what I'm saying? Let's continue.
I was in medical school. I was also in graduate school in pharmacology, studying psychopharmacology, the study of the effects of drugs on the mind, and when I started doing LSD research and also working with methamphetamines, end quote. So keep these facts in your head. Roger Smith was a former federal parole officer. He became a San Francisco parole officer so he could pursue his PhD at Berkeley in criminology with a focus on psychiatry. The only parolee he oversaw as a parole officer was Charles Manson, when usually parole officers have like 100 parolees to monitor, or maybe 200 parolees to monitor, depending on how intensive the case is. The only parolee he oversaw as a parole officer was Charles Manson. So Roger Smith, the parole officer, spent most of his time working at the Free Health Clinic in Haight-Ashbury, founded by Dr. David Smith. David Smith being a medical doctor who specializes in psychopharmacology, the study of the effects of drugs on the mind, with an emphasis on LSD and its interactions with methamphetamines, which is exactly what the CIA's MK Ultra program was working on. So David E. Smith was joined at the clinic by Charles Manson's parole officer, Roger Smith, who was working on his PhD at Berkeley in almost exactly the same field. And Roger Smith, the parole officer, only had one parolee to monitor, Charles Manson. And Roger Smith's work at the clinic was being funded by the National Institute for Mental Health, which funded the CIA's illegal MK Ultra program. So the San Francisco project which Roger Smith was part of, was also funded by the National Institute for Mental Health. And one of Roger Smith's specific projects at the clinic was also funded by the National Institute for Mental Health. His project called the Amphetamine Research Project, which was to study the effects of amphetamines on the human brain. So this was also funded by the National Institute for Mental Health, through which funding.
Right, funded all that and all that. But what does that have to do with Charles Manson being, you know what I'm saying? He just went over there to get his drugs. And you know who could get drugs faster than him? The girls.
For MK Ultra also flowed. Now, amphetamines produce violence and often superhuman strength. A focus of research for the two Smiths was to see if the violence produced by the amphetamines could be controlled with LSD. LSD tends to make people more prone to the power of suggestion, which is why LSD trips are best conducted in group settings with a leader, so that everyone can have a similar experience, a similar trip. The interaction of the group tends to reinforce the LSD trip. And one purpose of the MK Ultra program was to create human weapons, like in the Manchurian Candidate. But for a weapon to be useful, it has to be controllable. And Charles Manson and his core group of female followers were a constant presence at this clinic. Now, why would this lifelong criminal with Charles Manson's past, his history of just not following any rules, suddenly be showing up every day at a government-funded clinic? It just doesn't fit Manson's past pattern at all. Manson never stayed in one place.
Thank you. It does not fit his pattern, like, because he's a narcissist. He's a control freak. He's like, you know, he's 5'2". My bad. I thought he was 5'3". I gave him an inch. He's my height. I wouldn't listen to him. So he's angry, you know. People overlooked him. You can always overlook somebody short unless they're a female. As a dude, it's like, that's why they gotta be all, you know, arf, 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 arf. This how little dudes talk. Arf, arf.
He's always skipping out on parole, moving out of the jurisdiction. He wasn't showing up every day at a government facility. And these girls who were also showing up at the clinic, these future killers, also had no history of violence and were from middle-class families. Okay, got it? Also noteworthy, very interesting here, is that Dr. David E. Smith conducted a 2-year research project on the effect of LSD and amphetamines on mice. Well, he found that when he injected the mice with amphetamines, the mice would transform from docile, peaceful creatures to ultra-violent combatants. And the violence and rage of the mice on amphetamines was unremitting. They tore each other apart, and their cages were drenched in blood and dismembered body parts. The mice on amphetamines would fight each other to the death, or until they were too exhausted to move. Also, the fighting would become more fierce the smaller and more confined the space. And in larger spaces, a dominant male figure would emerge. The weaker mice would try to stay out of the way of the dominant mouse. And the female mice would become subservient sex slaves. There would then be just nonstop sex, with the dominant male screwing every female mouse and sometimes the male mice. So this sounds exactly like the Manson family.
Okay, so they're comparing mice to humans. Okay. All right.
Smith would then add LSD to the mix in an attempt to make the mice more controllable and open to the power of suggestion. And remember, susceptibility to the power of suggestion is one of the...
I'm telling y'all, they went over there. They was hippies. It's a free clinic. They probably got free drugs. They're like, oh, whatever, because they probably thought, doctors back then probably thought LSD cure everything. You know, like Benadryl, like if you go ride your bike and you know, run into your neighbor's garage and bump your head and skin your knee and all that. What your parents tell you to take Benadryl? It'll go away. It'll be all right. LSD back in the day probably was the same way. It's like, oh, your head hurt. Oh, you got a fever. Oh, you got a little bumpity bump on your little pee. Okay, take this LSD. Come on, MK Ultra, y'all.
Key features of LSD. Smith found that LSD produced a kind of dazed, disorganized behavior in the mice, but not violent behavior. And LSD was the preferred drug by Manson and his followers most of the time. They were dropping acid every day, all the time, acid being slang for LSD. And they did sometimes mix LSD with speed, but mostly they just used LSD. However, Linda Kasabian testified at trial that they all took speed on their way to the Tate and LaBianca murders. So soon after this clinic was founded, the 1967 Summer of Love commenced. Haight-Ashbury was suddenly awash in LSD and speed. Violence in Haight-Ashbury became rampant. Haight-Ashbury became a very dangerous place. And by the way, the files on Roger Smith's amphetamine...
I wouldn't even be surprised if they was going to the clinic getting LSD and selling it. Have y'all thought about that? Mm-hmm.
Research project completely vanished from the clinic soon after Manson and his family members were arrested for the Tate and LaBianca murders. Their story was that there was a burglary and the files went missing. Poof. And these files were the only items stolen. And both Smiths say they don't know what happened to the files. But here's the thing. If your research is being funded by the government, by the federal government, in this case the National Institute for Mental Health, you're supposed to keep files. You're supposed to keep records. But here's the clincher. Also connected with the Haight-Ashbury Free Medical Clinic was a renowned psychiatrist named Louis Jolyon West. He went by Jolly West. And who is Jolly West? Dr. Jolly was a leading figure in the CIA's MK-Ultra program. Jolly West was also a figure in the investigation into the...
Boy, y'all keep trying to push this MK Ultra. Boy, he read that book. He read that book. Y'all can tell he read that book. He read that book. Okay, continue.
Assassination of John F. Kennedy. Robert F. Kennedy Jr. believes that both President John F. Kennedy and his father Bobby Kennedy were killed by the CIA, and Bobby was going to be the Democrat.
Oh, they was definitely killed by the CIA. They weren't killed by no long gunman over here talking about pew pew, my little pistol starter. Let's the fuck out of here.
Nominee for president in 1968 until he was assassinated in June by Sirhan. And RFK Jr. compiles a mountain of evidence that both Kennedys, both JFK, President JFK, and Robert Kennedy were assassinated by the CIA. Perhaps I'll do another video on that.
No, you can in my chat, Mika. You just can't start a code. You just can't start a code in my chat.
Some point. But here's what connects the JFK assassination to Charlie Manson. Now, you remember Jack Ruby? Well, Jack Ruby shot and killed Lee Harvey Oswald at a Dallas police station 2 days after Oswald shot and killed John F. Kennedy with a rifle from a 6-story window. Now, how Jack Ruby was allowed to have a free shot at Lee Harvey Oswald at a Dallas police station 2 days after the JFK assassination is more than a little bit mind-boggling.
Ain't mind-boggling. They just like, this is the one that killed the president, so I gotta kill him. Like, you emotional ass motherfucker. First of all, that wasn't even him. You dumb son of a gun. Just like people believe in this MK Ultra, like, oh, Charles Manson, he was in the CIA. Like, prove to me that he was in the CIA. I'm listening. We listening to the same thing. I think we hearing the same thing. We're watching the same thing. Prove to me how. Just prove to me how I don't know. Look, I don't know. I'm here for understanding. Look, I'm just here for understanding. I don't know.
But here's where the Manson murders connect with the JFK assassination and the CIA's MK Ultra program. Jack Ruby insisted he had no memory at all of killing Oswald. And Jolly West visited Jack Ruby alone in his jail cell.
Motherfucker, I would say I don't have no memory either, because my lawyer ain't here. Oh, you the lawyer? Nigga, you a medical student. Wait, ain't he a doctor? The fuck is we talking about? Nigga, I ain't got no memory either if my lawyer ain't here. What is we talking about?
As part of the investigation. And right as visited Jack Ruby, Ruby insisted he had no memory at all of killing Oswald. And Jolly West visited Jack Ruby alone in his jail cell as part of the investigation. And right after Jolly West's visit with Ruby, alone in his jail cell, Ruby reportedly went insane. Had a complete psychotic break, according to Jolly.
First of all, because he ain't no motherfucking lawyer. Second of all, bitch, I ain't trying to be your MK Ultra any motherfucking thing. So get the fuck away from me, you weirdo. Where's my lawyer? Fuck is we talking about?
And this happened right before Ruby was due to testify before the Warren Commission, which was investigating the JFK assassination. Then when Ruby did testify before the Warren Commission, Ruby appeared confused during his testimony, and he could not explain why he had killed.
I still don't see where is his lawyer? Where was his attorney? Where was his attorney talking to any of y'all? Quit talking for him. I have my attorney speak for me, and he not even a fucking, he a head doctor. He one of them MK, like, bruh, get the fuck away from me. Bitch, I will drive you crazy before you drive me crazy. I promise you. Nigga, I will, bro, don't play with me.
Oswald. Jack Ruby then died of a heart attack on January 3rd, 1967. Dr. Jolly West was not just a figure in the MK Ultra program. He was one of the top figures in MK Ultra. And Jolly West was a key figure in the Haight-Ashbury Free Medical Clinic. He was a constant presence at the clinic and was almost certainly the real founder of the clinic. So let's get into a few more details on Dr. Jolly West. Jolly West completed his residency in psychiatry at Cornell University, which was an MK Ultra institution. Dr. Jolly West became a subcontractor for MK Ultra while he was chairman of the psychiatry department at the University of Oklahoma. He authored a paper titled Psychophysiological Studies of Hypnosis and Suggestibility, and a document titled Studies of Dissociative States. So Dr. Jolly West was one of the lead psychiatrists in the CIA's MK-Ultra program in the 1960s. We know this. You can just look it up in Wikipedia. Or you can read the Senate committee hearings on this led by Senator Frank Church. From 1969 to 1989, Jolly West was the chairman of the psychiatry department at UCLA's School of Medicine and the UCLA Neuropsychiatric Institute. But here's what launched Jolly West with MK-Ultra. Jolly West was an officer in the United States Air Force Medical Service from 1948 to 1956 during the Korean War. One of his assignments was to study returning American POWs from the Korean War who had been captured and sent to communist China for brainwashing, just like in the Manchurian Candidate. And these American POWs were forced to confess to war crimes and to accuse the United States of war crimes.
At the end of the Korean War, a number of free American POWs came home seemingly brainwashed and espousing communist propaganda. American officials suspected that the soldiers had been subjected to what they thought were new communist mind control techniques. Alarmed by the situation, the newly formed CIA allocated 20.
Bro, they was weak-minded. It is some MK Ultra. Well, I don't fucking know. I would say, like I was saying a while ago, the motherfuckers be going to the plasma place. Imagine the plasma place, right? Y'all know the plasma, the blood plasma center, like today, like maybe down the street from your house or block or a city over, right? Imagine in 1969, there was this place called this free clinic, right? And it just so happened to fund MK Ultra people. But the MK Ultra people was just like the people that was going to the plasma place today in today's time, going to get money, going to, you know what I'm saying? Because they needed something. I'm going to you because I need something. Think about it. I'm coming to you because I need something. So Charles and his gang needed something. They needed drugs. So maybe they acted like they was, hey, yeah, I'll do whatever the fuck you need me to do so I can keep getting these drugs. Just like I'll do whatever the fuck you need me to do. Just give me these $40 so you can get my little white blood cells. You know what I'm saying? Okay. That's my conjecture. Cause why the fuck would he be in anybody MK Ultra? Think about it. It doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense. Look, let me rewind. Hold on. Look. My bad, y'all. It doesn't make sense to me. It doesn't make sense.
At the end of the Korean War, a number of freed American POWs came home seemingly brainwashed and
mind control to do what? Because at the end of the day, you are building them. You're making them to do something to serve a purpose. What purpose would Charles Manson have to do anything for them when he's already, you know what I'm saying? It's like I built this empire, right? And somebody just want to come in and just want to squeeze, you know, like but I already built this empire. Now, why are you here? What you want me to do? What I'm supposed to be doing again for you? I mean, you can come in, you can, you know what I'm saying? I'll let you do your thing, but at the end of the day, this is my shit. And you know what I'm saying? Like, what do I need you for? Like, I don't need you. Like right now, I don't have no co-host. Like at all. Like the fuck. But my point is, okay. Oops. I'm sorry. Look, I did say I was gonna minimize random thoughts with Jay. Okay. So back to commentary, less commentary, more video. Got it.
espousing communist propaganda. American officials suspected that the soldiers had been subjected to what they thought were new communist mind control techniques. Alarmed by the situation, the newly formed CIA allocated $25 million for psychiatric experiments on human beings.
It was the most secret program ever conducted by the CIA in the
Bro, you can edit any. I'm sorry, y'all. I'm sorry. I can't with this MK Ultra. I prove it to me. Y'all, bro, y'all got everything. Y'all got the murder scene, everything that they did, because they was sloppy. They was very sloppy with everything that they did. But you can't prove that they was MK Ultra, that he was MK Ultra, that the girls, that his followers, they was very sloppy. But y'all can't prove this. Y'all just talking. Okay. All right. I ain't gonna talk no more, y'all. I'm so sorry. Y'all know when I get passionate, okay.
United States, patients at psychiatric hospitals, prisoners in federal institutions, and even people in the public were given drugs without their awareness or consent and experimented upon.
With the Nuremberg trial.
Oh, but trust me, they got Charles and his guns consent when they went up in that bitch, nigga. That's what the fuck we come here for. Nigga, we'll play cuckoo and crazy and kill all the fucking people y'all want us to. But at the end of the day, go and give us some drugs. Yeah. Let's continue.
Barely over, the American Secret Service begins Operation Paperclip. Nearly 1,500 German scientists, including war criminals, are expatriated to America. They are offered a new life in exchange for their knowledge and cooperation.
We're putting the Nazis on trial, but in fact, behind the curtain, we're doing some very nasty things ourselves to basically incarcerated people, poor people, individuals who at the time were called feeble-minded and locked up in institutions. And if you were in one of those institutions, whether you were indigent or an unwed mother or had some sort of mental incapacity, there's a good chance that you may have been incorporated in some sort of medical study where you would have been used and abused.
Assisted by the German scientists, the Americans begin pursuing their goal of the ultimate weapon. And everything is allowed in the name of the Cold War. The CIA was above all interested in psychological manipulation. Their goal was to create an infallible truth serum, wipe memories, turn humans into robots, and program them to kill. Conveniently, in 1948, a researcher in the Sandoz laboratories, Albert Hofmann, discovers a molecule that ignites the Secret Service, lysergic acid diethylamide, or LSD. It was believed that the hallucinogenic property...
And you know what's so funny? That shit didn't even work. That shit just make them high and just want to fuck each other. And that's probably why they kept going to the free clinic, because they kept getting bum bumps every fucking week. Like, what is it? What is this? Like,
of this drug were key to psychological manipulation. Fearing that the Russians would get their hands on Sandoz's samples, the Americans bought all of their stock. The discovery of LSD was a godsend for the Army, who on the brink of nuclear weapons were looking for a weapon that could defeat an enemy without firing any weapons.
Jolly West became an expert and pioneer in the deprogramming of POWs returning from the Korean War. And West published a paper titled United States Air Force Prisoners of the Chinese Communists.
bro, you talking about veterans. You talking about fucking soldiers. We talking about Charles Manson. Can we get back to Charles Manson, please and thank you?
Methods of forceful indoctrination, observations, and interviews. This brought West to the attention of the CIA. Dr. Jolly West then became a leading figure, a lead psychiatrist in the CIA's illegal MK-Ultra program, one of the purposes of which was to turn humans into controllable weapons, similar to what we saw in the 1962 movie, The Manchurian Candidate. Key features of this program were to identify drugs and mind control techniques that could be used to produce confessions, break down a subject's worldview, implant false memories, and create entirely new realities. On its human subjects, the program used high doses of psychoactive drugs, especially LSD, and other chemicals, including methamphetamines, often without the consent or knowledge of subjects. Also used was sleep deprivation, electroshock, hypnosis, solitary confinement, verbal and even sexual abuse, and other forms of torture. MK-Ultra's scope was broad, with activities carried out under the guise of research,
Oh, Charles Manson didn't need no damn MK-Ultra when he sodomized that boy. Y'all remember early in the live, he sodomized somebody, and I bet you he wasn't black. Bet you that boy wasn't black.
Of medical research at more than 80 institutions, aside from the military, including colleges, universities, hospitals, prisons, and pharmaceutical companies. And the CIA operated using front organizations, such as the Haight-Ashbury Free Medical Clinic. And Jolly West, Dr. Jolly West, was a constant presence at the Haight-Ashbury Clinic when Charles Manson and his girls were going there in 1967 and 1968. We also know that Jolly West arrived in Haight-Ashbury in 1966. He was taking a one-year sabbatical from the University of Oklahoma, nominally to pursue a fellowship at Stanford University. But Stanford has no record of Jolly's participation there. At the time of his arrival in Haight-Ashbury in 1966, few people even knew what LSD was. Suddenly, LSD was everywhere in Haight-Ashbury. And Dr. Jolly West, in one of his papers, had actually predicted the rise of violent LSD cults. How did he know so much about LSD and how LSD interacted with methamphetamines? Well, because he had been experimenting on humans with these drugs for years. Sometimes with their consent, sometimes without their consent. In the case of the Unabomber, I guess they had his consent, even though he's only 17 years old when he started with MK-Ultra, the Unabomber. So now Dr. Jolly was going to introduce LSD and amphetamines into a population of hippies and social castaways that few cared about. And then he'd just see what happens. And it was actually Dr. Jolly West who arranged for the use of a crumbling Victorian house that would become the Haight-Ashbury Free Medical Clinic on Frederick Street. And let's not forget, Charles Manson and his key female followers would be living in a house just 2 blocks away. Dr. Jolly and David E. Smith designed the interior of the clinic to look like a hippie crash pad, with sofas and psychedelic art on the walls, peace symbols all over the place. And the employees of the clinic were supposed to dress like hippies. Jolly West installed 6 graduate students at the clinic. Their job was to lure in patients. Yeah, it's free medical care for the hippies and vagrants, right? Well, except it wasn't quite free, was it? In exchange, you got to be a human guinea pig for Jolly West and...
I'm telling you, didn't I just say that? Didn't I just say that? You got to be a human guinea pig. Yeah, nigga, I'll do whatever the fuck you tell me to do. Put that little funky dumbass Frankenstein shit on my brain, and roll your eyes in the back of your motherfucking mind, all that and all that. As long as I get free drugs, I don't give a fuck what you do. $40 to get my plasma and make me holler. I don't give a fuck. I mean, not me, but let's continue.
MK-Ultra mind control experiments, argues Tom O'Neill in his book, meticulously documented. And given what we know now about the CIA's MK-Ultra mind control experiments, such as on Ted Kaczynski, which created the Unabomber, this kind of puts the JFK and RFK assassinations in a completely new light. Doesn't Lee Harvey Oswald look exactly like the kind of human weapon created by the CIA's MK-Ultra program? And then Jack Ruby manages to get a clear shot at Oswald at that Dallas police station 2 days after the assassination. Then Ruby has no memory of shooting Oswald. Another curiosity about Charlie Manson's 14-month period in Haight-Ashbury before he moved to LA was the apparent immunity from the law he enjoyed. Even though he was on parole, he continued to break the law and get arrested, and yet he would quickly be out on the street, no jail time. O'Neill's book goes through dozens of examples of this. On April 23, 1968, the Los Angeles Times published an article headlined, "Wayward Bus Stuck in Ditch." Deputy finds nude hippies asleep in weeds. At first, the deputy thought they were dead. There were 9 women and 5 men, including Charlie Manson. This was the first time the Manson family came to public notice at all, in a little article in the LA Times. The article presented the scene as kind of amusing. And at that point, they just looked like a bunch of pretty harmless, stoned hippies. The article reports that Manson was booked on suspicion of grand theft. They were...
Bro, how the fuck you gonna be anybody CK Ultra anybody and your dumb ass nude in the motherfucking woods and shit, high out your fucking mind, and then you got a bitch over here just had a fucking man, if y'all don't stop talking. Okay. This is why okay.
Also stoned out of their minds. And as a group was being loaded into the police van, one of the Manson women said, "Wait, my baby's still on the bus." And the police went in the bus and found a sick baby boy covered in grime and sores all over his body, and the baby was just 1 week old. And even though Manson was in violation of his parole from this incident alone, he spent just 1 night in jail and then was released, along with the rest of the group. Now, Susan Atkins was actually held for 2 weeks because there were several warrants out for her arrest due to her parole violations. Like Manson, Susan Atkins was not much of a rule follower. She rarely showed up at her mandatory meetings with her parole officer, but she pretty much had immunity from the law, too. And 2 months before the Tate LaBianca murders, LA police pulled over a 68 Plymouth for speeding at 3:30 a.m. It was Charles Manson with 4 passengers, including Susan Atkins, Leslie Van Houten, and 2 others. Manson and his crew were arrested for driving under the influence, and the arresting officers saw that Manson was on federal parole. Atkins, of course, was also in violation of her parole, with arrest warrants out for her, but all were released with no charges. And local authorities were stunned that they could be released. They were just let back out on the street. And Manson was constantly being arrested for doing all kinds of things. He was arrested for vandalizing Death Valley National Park, for stealing cars, for possessing drug paraphernalia, and of course, parole violations. But he'd always be back out on the street within 24 hours. Normally, just simple parole violations like not showing up to your meeting with your parole officer will land you back in jail for an extended period, and especially if accompanied by additional crimes. But with Roger Smith overseeing Manson, there was almost nothing Manson could do short of murder that would land Manson back in jail for any extended...
Bro, he been in jail for so long. How could he even go to the MK Ultra meetings? How could he even go? Bro, y'all know the story more than me. How do I know more than y'all? I just learned this like 2 days ago. Like, I've been studying. Like, every time when I do a live, I study, I do my research. How the hell he's been locked up? He's locked up, but he's doing his MK Ultra thing. I explain it to me, cause I want to know. Cause every time, cause that's my only question. If somebody look, the link is in the chat. Can somebody please understand? I just want to understand how can he go to his parole, his MK Ultra, kill bitches or tell bitches to kill niggas, and then you know what I'm saying? Like it's a lot going on in this mass murderers world. Like you know what I'm saying? I just don't understand. I'm trying to help me understand.
Period of time. And actually, Roger Smith was not even Manson's parole officer after Manson and his crew moved from San Francisco to Los Angeles in the spring of 1968, LA being outside Roger Smith's jurisdiction. He was a parole officer for San Francisco County. Now, why Manson was allowed to move to another jurisdiction while under parole is yet another mystery. But Manson and his crew remained protected by LA County. And Roger Smith was making regular trips from San Francisco to LA to see Manson, even though he had no formal jurisdiction anymore over Manson. Roger Smith was Manson's guardian angel from the law. He also weighed in on behalf of Manson family members who got in trouble. And quite interestingly, Manson liked to call Roger Smith Jabal, after one of the main characters in Robert Heinlein's Stranger in a Strange Land. Manson was fanatical about that book. Manson saw himself as like the hero of that novel, Valentine Michael Smith. And Valentine Michael Smith's spiritual protector, lawyer, and guardian angel in that novel is Jubal Harshaw. So Manson would call Roger Smith Jubal, because with Roger Smith protecting Manson and his crew, they effectively had immunity from the law. Valentine Michael Smith also started a religious cult called the Church of All Worlds, replete with sex orgies and drug use that resembled the Charlie Manson cult. Manson also knew how to hypnotize people. During Manson's time in Los Angeles County Jail in the 1960s, Manson met up with the actor Danny Trejo, a famous actor. Wasn't famous at that time, but he would become famous. And Manson would practice hypnotism on Trejo and the other inmates. Trejo says Manson hypnotized Trejo and the other inmates to make them feel like they were smoking weed or high on heroin. And Trejo said it worked. Manson was a completely unknown figure at that point. So let's hear Trejo on this.
So you met Charles Manson in prison, didn't you? What was that story? Can you tell us that?
County jail. In the county jail. But let me tell you, Charlie wasn't the guy that you saw on the TV special.
He act like he on LSD right now.
All right? He was he was like 5.
That nigga high or drunk or something.
5'4", 5'5", little scrawny.
He's 5'2". We just learned that today. He's my height. He's fun size. He got the gift of gab.
We found out that he could hypnotize you.
So you're saying that he got you guys loaded up on heroin or weed, but there was no heroin or weed in the room, right? He was doing this purely through hypnosis.
People know when I get loaded on heroin, my eyes, I get red under my eyes, and it's like literally, the first thing, blah, you throw up, you dump, and I mean, me and Chato was like, it's like we both got blah. He dumped in the sink, I dumped in the toilet, and looked, hey, what you doing? And whoa, everybody was like shocked. Johnny Ronnie Cruz, he was like, well, what happened? He never got loaded. I was sorry when they transferred Charlie out.
You've basically got unlimited access to anything that you want because he can just keep on hypnotizing you back into it. What was he in for? Do you know why he was there?
Yeah, I have no idea. He was nothing of any, because he was a petty thief. He wasn't. Charlie couldn't have done that any place, anytime, but right there. And my friend George Perry knew him in Frisco, knew him in Oakland, okay? And he was a scrawny little hippie. And the girls that he got, Linda Kasabian, all of them were broken. All of them, they were up in Oakland and San Francisco being ripped off by the pimps and raped by the pimps. And so he came around with a big bus and some acid and said, let me lead you. So it was kind of like they looked at him like, yeah, he's the Messiah,
So what do you think? Do you think Charles Manson was an MK Ultra experiment guy?
Hold on. He said it would be raped by the pimps. You think MK Ultra is going to send Charles Manson? Listen, I knew what I was going to ask y'all. Okay, so if Charles Manson was the CIA, right? Charles Manson already has his portfolio. Like, nigga, I've been killing bitches. I've been killing people. What do you want me to do for you? Think about it. What do you want me? Because he could do greater things. I've not heard him do anything greater than what the fuck he do. So MK Ultra is the government. MK Ultra is, I'm building you human to do something for me. I'm gonna send you on a mission. This is what I need you to do. We heard Charles Manson's statement, mantra, what they call it when you what they call that shit when you commit suicide? I'm gonna say mantra. I'm sorry, start with an M. Can't think of it right now, but that was not Charles Manson. Listen to me, people. If he was MK Ultra, he would have been doing bigger and better things. Every time we see Charles Manson, he's in fucking prison. He's locked up. He's always fucking in fucking prison. The fuck is we talking about? Let's continue.
Gone wrong? Well, I think that actually, maybe, Charles Manson performed exactly as designed. That it wasn't a mistake by the CIA. Because Charlie Manson effectively ended the 1960s and all the craziness with his murders. Manson and his family became the personification of the 1960s gone wrong, just gone out of control. After the Manson murder spree, there were no more Woodstocks, no more Summers of Love, not much of an anti-war movement anymore, or at least it was greatly diminished. By 1971, it was really no longer cool to be a hippie. Richard Nixon won 49 states in 1972, with 60% of the popular vote won by 20 points, largely due to the public's rejection of the campus riots and mayhem of the 1960s and early 1970s, symbolized by Charles Manson and his hippie followers, symbolized by Helter Skelter. America said no to all that. And it's worth noting that the CIA and FBI launched major PSYOP programs in the 1960s aimed at discrediting the anti-Vietnam War movement. Now, the CIA and FBI back in those days was anti-communist and basically conservative. Back in those days, I kind of liked the CIA. I assumed that they were good. I didn't know about all this MK Ultra stuff. The CIA's program to discredit the anti-war movement was called Operation Chaos. And the FBI's version of the program was called CONINTELPRO, for Counterintelligence Program. And these programs aim to, quote, discredit, disrupt, and neutralize targeted groups by spreading misinformation, provoking internal conflicts, and damaging their public image. They would also use the legal process to harass their targets. And what better way to discredit the anti-war movement than to create a Charles Manson? And what better way to do this than to lace the anti-war movement with free LSD and speed to create all kinds of mayhem that the public would reject, handing Nixon 49 states.
What did I just say? What have I been saying all this time? Free LSD and free, man, if y'all don't get, what did I just say? What have I been saying all this time? That clinic been giving them free speed and free weed. What, man, if y'all, man, okay.
1972. And of course, there's a reason that the CIA, what better way to do their public image movement than to create a Charles Manson? And what better way to do?
No, we're gonna hear this again. What have I been saying all this time? Free speed. Is that what does LSD stand for anyway? I don't do drugs. I don't know. I don't like the drugs, but the drugs like me. What does LSD stand for? Speed and what? L, I don't know. Speed and what's the D stand for? I've been telling y'all that, man. Like y'all. Okay, keep calling me crazy, troll. I got a troll in here. Keep calling me crazy. I ain't crazy. I ain't that much crazy. Cause he just said what I've been saying this whole time. Like, nigga, they live 2 blocks from the fucking free clinic where they can get free LSD. You heard the man? Talk to him, bald head man. We listen.
This than to lace the anti-war movement with free LSD and speed to create all kinds of mayhem that the public would reject, handing Nixon 49 states in 1972. And of course, there's a reason that the CIA called this program Operation Chaos. Charlie called it Helter Skelter. Means the same thing. The CIA wanted to create chaos, wanted to create Helter Skelter that the public would reject at the ballot box, which is exactly what happened. And Dr. Jolly West, Roger Smith, and David Smith all dressed as hippies during Manson's Haight-Ashbury period. And this was pretty funny because Jolly West and Roger Smith were rock-ribbed Republicans. You couldn't get more conservative than these guys. Take a look at them. Do they look like Haight-Ashbury types to you? Yet there they were at the clinic looking like hippies to blend in with the scene. Yet nothing about Charlie's period in Haight-Ashbury, nothing about the...
And you think anybody give a fuck about how they looked? Clearly, Charlie didn't trust that other, because he was not a head doctor. He's a, you know what I'm saying? Like, Charlie didn't like his energy. Charlie just wanted to get his LSD rocks off. Like, what's wrong with y'all people? Hey, chat, do y'all see the banner at the bottom? What cult leader do you want to see next?
Clinic made it into the Charlie Manson trial, even though Haight-Ashbury was where Charlie formed his family of about 24 followers. To keep its narrative coherent, the prosecution could not allow in the Haight-Ashbury material, the prosecution being led by...
And don't say no fucking YouTube nobody. Don't say no fucking YouTube nobody. I'm being for real. Like, what cult leaders do you want to see next? I want to do David Koresh next week. Don't fucking do that, y'all. Don't do that to me.
LA District Attorney Vince Bugliosi. The prosecution had to focus on Charlie's activities in LA and the Spawn Ranch, which was 25 miles northwest of LA, after he moved to LA from Haight-Ashbury. The prosecution couldn't let the Haight-Ashbury material in, the material about the clinic, all the time that Charlie was spending there, because that would mean that a strong case could be made that the CIA was actually responsible for these murders. Now, the MK Ultra program is not yet known to the public, but the last thing the CIA would want is for the MK Ultra program to be exposed by the Manson trial. So the government had to keep the focus on Manson's activities in Los Angeles, had to pretend he was never in Haight-Ashbury, had to completely ignore Manson's near daily presence at the free medical clinic, and the key figures there, the two Smiths and Dr. Jolly West. Who are these guys?
Free medical clinic. He emphasizing this free. You know what about free medical clinics? You go over there and get your bumps checked out on your peen, because you keep fucking these bitches on Coachella in California, whatever the fuck y'all do. I don't know what y'all do in California. Whatever y'all do you. But at the end of the day, there's a free clinic 2 blocks away, and they give out drugs too. I don't know about condoms, but they do give out drugs. So, you know,
We'd have to bring them in to testify. We'd have to depose them if Manson had had a good defense, and if the defense became suspicious of that clinic in Haight-Ashbury. And obviously, if a good legal team knew about that clinic and knew that Manson was there almost every day with his followers, his legal defense team would want to know what was going on at that clinic. Why was he there all the time? But Charlie had no legal defense to speak of. Initially, he had a public defender, a guy named Ronald Hughes, who was a hip.
First of all, I don't even think HIPAA laws was HIPAA laws going on there. Don't worry about what the fuck he was doing there. Nigga probably had bumps on this fucking peen. The fuck is you talking about? You talking about MK Ultra? Okay, well, what's worse, MK Ultra having bumps on your dick? Y'all answer that in the chat.
Lawyer, wasn't a real lawyer. He'd never tried a murder case, never tried a serious crime before. And he was swapped out 2 weeks before the trial for a complete joke of a lawyer, a guy named Irving Kanarek. And Kanarek was jailed twice during the trial for contempt of court.
Because remember, MK Ultra, mentally, they can turn your ass on. They can push a button and boom, right? But then if you got bumps on your peen, I mean, you can turn it on and off. I mean, you don't know when they're going to flare up, but eventually it will. I mean, I don't know. Let's continue.
And he was making constant objections that didn't really make sense, which annoyed the jury. He was just objecting all the time. No problem with objecting all the time, but the objections need to make sense. And then, of course, Charlie famously insisted on defending himself with extended courtroom speeches. The speeches were famous and compelling, but didn't help his defense one bit. And there were constant irregularities during the trial, such as the judge in constant private meetings with the prosecution, without the defense lawyer present. That's never supposed to happen. I've never seen it happen. And the many problems with the trial and Bugliosi's case are well covered in Tom O'Neill's book. But one pretty obvious point, if Bugliosi's helter-skelter thesis was correct, and the murder...
First of all, about this book, let me tell y'all about this book. This is why Judge Jay is questioning this whole CIA affiliation thing, because the Chaos book was by Tom O'Neill, and Tom O'Neill is the author of the book, right? Tom O'Neill made a bunch of notes. He made 20 years. He made a collection of Charles Manson in the span of 20 years and made a book. And there's no proof that this man was in the CIA. And if y'all listen to me, and I know some of y'all think I'm sounding crazy, and that's fine, that's okay. But y'all know, like, at the end of the day, like, where is the proof that this man was in the CIA? You live 2 blocks away. There's some we see pictures of you everywhere, bro. We see you going to prison. But we don't see, you live 2 blocks away. You're sloppy. You're messy. Everything you do is unorganized. And you mean to tell me you live 2 blocks away from the LSD clinic and ain't nobody saw it? They go, oh, he went there every day. Nigga, probably because his dick was hurting. Because a bitch burnt him. Maybe. I don't know. It was a free clinic. I don't know. Let's continue.
Were part of Manson's plan to start a worldwide race war, or at least a national race war. Why were there only 2 sets of murders? Why didn't Manson's home invasion murders just continue? 2 full months passed between the Tate LaBianca murders and the arrest of Charlie Manson and his followers. So there's plenty more time to commit many more home invasion-style murders to get the helter-skelter race war really moving. But there was nothing after that. Now, this certainly doesn't mean that Charlie Manson and his family weren't very dangerous people, but the prosecution's theory makes very little sense. And one of the really interesting parts of the Charlie Manson saga is his relationship with Dennis Wilson, the drummer for the Beach Boys, and the brother of Beach Boy lead Brian Wilson. Carl Wilson, the other brother, played guitar. Dennis Wilson met Charlie in the spring of 1968 after Dennis Wilson picked up two hitchhikers on Sunset Strip, who were actually members of the Manson family, Ella Jo Bailey and Patricia Krenwinkel. And Dennis Wilson brought them home to his mansion in Pacific Palisades. And the girls told Wilson about their spiritual guru, Charlie. Wilson left the house for a bit, and when he returned, Manson was in the driveway. The two hit it off. Charlie taught Dennis Wilson how to play guitar. The girl took Wilson's Rolls Royce and went dumpster diving and came back with food. Then the Manson family moved into Wilson's house, which was probably fun for a while. There were nonstop orgies, new dinner parties, drugs. Wilson was so captivated by Charlie Manson that he wanted the Beach Boys to join the Manson cult. Fortunately, his bandmates rejected the idea.
Dennis Wilson was the embodiment of what the Beach Boys were about. Their first songs were about surfing and cars.
Manson's sermons denouncing material possessions and celebrating communal and spiritual unity, along with the sexual allure of the girls, won him over immediately.
My first exposure to the wizard, as Dennis would call him, was he called me up one night, and Greg, you have to come down here, man. You've got to see this guy. He's the wizard, and he's got all these girls. I must say this, when Charlie was around, everybody knew it. He had an energy that you couldn't not pay attention to Charlie. Don't forget, Dennis had...
I'm sorry, I just couldn't listen to a 5'2" dude talking to me. I just couldn't. I don't care if he got a suit on. I don't care if he's the handsomest thing in the room. Bro, you my height.
left his house and his family and his wife and stuff, and now he had all this literally adoration. And he had all these girls. They were making him clothes, and they almost would bow down to him. So I'm sure, for the moment, he was very charmed by the whole scene.
Wilson was also fascinated by Manson's music. Impressed by Manson's musical talents, Wilson hoped to both learn from and collaborate with his new house guest.
And Dennis Wilson was covering all costs for the Manson family, including food and transportation. Wilson allowed Manson and his girls to use his fancy cars and his credit cards. And in return, Manson provided Dennis Wilson all the women he could handle. So Dennis was happy, for a while. The problem was Manson's people would destroy Wilson's cars and stole most of his belongings. It just got to be too much. But Manson and his crew would not move out.
Talking about MK Ultra. Nigga, why would you have to steal anything, you MK Ultra? Nigga, I'm MK Ultra. I am here to destroy you, looking fucking ass. The fuck is we talking about?
It was getting pretty scary at Dennis Wilson's house. So Dennis Wilson moved out. Manson and his crew lived at Dennis Wilson's house for the entire summer of 1968 before moving to the Spahn Ranch, which was a 55-acre ranch that had been used to film Hollywood westerns, but that had fallen into disrepair. The owner of the ranch was George Spahn. He allowed Manson and his family to live there for free in exchange for helping Spahn keep up the ranch, including the horse.
Okay, I was about to say something, but I'm giving my commentary, y'all. I know I keep pausing, and when I listen back to this, I'm gonna probably be upset with myself, but not really, because I got to give commentary every time when I pause it, Jay. I have to give commentary. I have to, you know what I'm saying, so I don't get struck or strike. Because it's fair use for, you know, all in interchange, jumping little purposes and all that. So let's continue.
Rental business, which was the ranch's main source of income at the time. And no doubt George got plenty of sex from the women as well. I mean, imagine showing up to the ranch to rent a horse and being greeted by Tex Watson, Susan Atkins, and perhaps Charlie himself. The Beach Boys actually bought a song from Charlie Manson called Cease to Exist. Manson was also given a motorcycle as part of the deal. The Beach Boys kept much of the music, adding piano, guitar, bass, drums, organ, and sleigh bells. Also changed the name of the song to Never Learn Not to Love, and completely rewrote the lyrics. And this incensed Manson, definitely, but not enough to trigger Manson and his family's murderous rampages, as was the narrative of the prosecution. Also, the Beach Boys did not give credit to Manson on the album for his song, apparently as retribution for Manson and his crew stealing Dennis Wilson's stuff. But this, not getting credit for the song, didn't seem to bother Manson as much as the rewriting of his lyrics. And here's Manson's original song.
Cease to exist. Just come and say you love me. Give up.
Nigga. Nobody want to hear none of that shit.
It's in a record deal, which never came through. The Beach Boys record producer, Terry Melcher, promised Manson a record deal, which never came through. This, according to the prosecution, triggered Manson. But O'Neill's book, Chaos, documents that Melcher maintained a friendly relationship with Manson, continued to hang out with Manson and the family at the Spahn Ranch. Melcher loved it out there. Endless orgies and drugs. And in fact, Vincent Bugliosi's own notes, the LA district attorney, his own notes say that Terry Melcher visited the Manson family at the Spahn Ranch 3 times during a 60-day period after the Tate and LaBianca murders, but before, obviously, Manson was arrested. So Melcher hung out at the Spahn Ranch at least 3 times after the murders, was having a great time out there, loved it. But that fact was omitted from the trial. That fact was not given to the defense, or at least the defense never saw this information. Of course, Charlie's defense lawyer was so woefully incompetent, so might have missed this information even if it was turned over to him as is required in criminal cases. But Melcher, Terry Melcher, the record producer for the Beach Boys, testified at trial that he only met Manson on 3 occasions, and that he made only 1 trip to the Spahn Ranch to check out Manson's music. Melcher testified that he was unimpressed with Manson's music, and that was it. Said he never saw Manson again. So Terry Melcher perjured himself according to the Tom O'Neill book, apparently under pressure from the prosecution to maintain the narrative, perhaps in exchange for avoiding criminal charges for drug offenses or who knows what else. And of course, Terry Melcher had a strong self-interest in distancing himself from Manson after the murders. So of course he's going to say he barely knew Manson. Nope, Terry Melcher was a regular presence at the Spahn.
Again, Manson was sloppy. So how the fuck could he be anybody, MK Ultra, anything? Nigga, you slop. First of all, we see your work. Like, okay, let's just think I'm the government, right? And I just want to, I see your work. It's impressive. I got something better for you. I'm going to put you under these hallucinogens, these hallucinogens, right? I'm going to put this thing, this like Frankenstein thing on your brain. I'm going to roll your eyes in the back of your head. You're going to watch like some shit for like 48 hours. So it can get imprinted into your brain like that motherfucking swastika on your forehead, right? All right? Do you understand? Bro, if y'all don't get the fuck out of here with that
Ranch, even after the murders.
Dennis was off to a non-disclosed area. Nobody knew really where he was.
Dennis's whole personality changed. He wasn't at all the same person. There was a paranoia about him, the fear of how close he was to it all.
Dennis was not going to cooperate with Bugliosi, and neither was Terry. I to this day believe Terry made a deal with Bugliosi. What it was, I don't know.
Having placed such faith in the man he called the Wizard, after the shocking news of the murders emerged, Dennis Wilson was cast adrift. The once vital soul of the Beach Boys was left haunted by a friendship he could never erase, and over time he lost himself in drink and drugs. He died in 1983, aged only 39, and had refused since Manson's arrest to ever discuss the affair in public.
O'Neill reports that Manson was disappointed that nothing happened with the record deal, but was not in a rage about it. That narrative was a creation of the prosecution, according to O'Neill. Manson and his cult were quite happy to have a free place to live on a 55-acre ranch. Life was great for them. And O'Neill's book effectively dismantles the prosecution's narrative in the case, dismantles the prosecution's theory for the motive behind the murders. And once you dismantle the prosecution's motives, the motives for the murders, the question then is, why did this happen? Sure, Manson was a career criminal, but low-level stuff. Car theft, burglary, drug possession, pimping, trying to pass a bogus $43 check that got him 7 years in federal prison. Stuff like that. Nothing that comes remotely close to the Tate LaBianca savage mass killings. That was completely new for Manson. Completely new for just about anybody in history. So the question is, why the sudden and total change? Manson changed and changed dramatically during his time in Haight-Ashbury. So why am I so interested in Charles Manson? And why is this subject relevant now? Well, I always wondered how Charlie, who grew up without parents, who raised himself, who never attended school, who had spent more than half of his life in prison by age 32, could have attracted...
Whoa, Skip, did y'all hear that? Whoa, Arabia, are you still in here? I really want you to hear what he just said. I really want you to hear what he just said. I just went back. Arabia probably asleep. Well, y'all in here. All right. Y'all heard what he said. I'm not going to repeat it. He's going to repeat it, and we're going to continue. And let's continue.
Manson. And why is this subject relevant now? Well, I always wondered how Charlie, who grew up without parents, who raised himself, who never attended school, who had spent more than half of his life in prison by age 32, could have attracted this following of intelligent young people from good families, from middle-class backgrounds, from good schools, and somehow turn these intelligent people into zombies who would kill on command, who would do absolutely anything he told them to do. How is that possible? Well, it's possible if they were products of MK Ultra, which of course also produced the Unabomber. Turned a Harvard math student with 167 IQ, who had a very promising future, into one of the most dangerous domestic terrorists in America's history.
Sit down. You can't sing. For always is always forever. And one is one. Disguise yourself for your father. All is none is one.
I started seeing the CIA as a malevolent force in 2016 when the CIA, the National Security Agency, and the FBI colluded with the Hillary Clinton campaign to manufacture the Russia collusion hoax against.
Hold on, how the fuck he go from goddamn Charles Manson to? I mean, I know this shit connect, but okay. How the fuck you go from 1960 to 2000 and what we talking about? I hope you about to talk about Pizzagate because I heard Bill Clinton was over there in the islands, boy. Well, you ain't about to talk about the islands. I don't give a fuck about what you talking about.
Donald Trump. They invented a narrative that Donald Trump and his campaign colluded with Russia, colluded with Putin to steal the 2016 election. The CIA tried to frame Donald Trump as a traitor, as an asset of Vladimir Putin. The Russia collusion hoax was, of course, proven false by a 2-year independent counsel investigation, the Mueller investigation. Even though the 2-year Mueller investigation was staffed with 19 Democrat prosecutors and spent $30 million, they couldn't come up with anything on Donald Trump, not so much as an unpaid parking ticket. There were then 2 subsequent investigations that proved that the FBI knew the Russia collusion hoax was a hoax from the start, but pursued their investigation anyway for 2 years, hoping to find something else that Donald Trump might have done wrong. Some process crime or something like that, maybe filled out his taxes wrong or checked off a wrong box or something. Barack Obama's FBI director, James Comey, managed to trigger this 2-year independent counsel investigation, the Mueller investigation, on his way out the door during the transition in December of 2016. That's what opened my eyes to the fact that the CIA, the FBI, and the NSA, the National Security Agency, are deeply corrupt, highly politicized organizations. The CIA and FBI are not primarily focused on protecting us. Their primary focus is to control the American people. Elections have become almost a fiction in America. What the CIA sets out to do is manipulate public opinion. And one of its tools for doing this is Google. Google was launched with startup capital from the CIA and the NSA. And the Senator Church Committee hearings that produced the historic report in 1973 that exposed MK also exposed Operation Mockingbird. The Church Committee found that the CIA was planting assets in America's major news organizations, at the New York Times, the Washington Post, ABC.
At the end of the day, what the fuck does it have to do with Charles Manson? What does this have to do with Charles Manson? The news, the source. Nigga, we know the news ain't about a bitch ass thing. 2025, we know the news ain't about a bitch ass thing. They all read from the same script. What the fuck does that have to do with Charles Manson being MK Ultra? You just throwing shit in there. Just keep talking. Keep talking. He read this book and he keep talking. He keep talking. I'm listening, but
NBC, CBS, to manipulate the news. Now, back then in Manson's day and during the Vietnam War, we only had 3 major TV networks, ABC, CBS, NBC.
I promise you, y'all, I'm not taking up for Charles Manson because he's a slime ball. But, bruh, please tell me how he was affiliated with the CIA.
Plus PBS. And back then, the CIA wanted to rally public support for the Vietnam War. Back then, the CIA was anti-communist. So the CIA was targeting the anti-war movement. And I believe one of its weapons for doing this was its creation of Charles Manson and his crew, his family of followers. Was Charles Manson an MK Ultra experiment gone wrong? Or did Charles Manson perform exactly as designed? I'm also persuaded that the CIA engineered the assassination of both John F. Kennedy in 1963 and his brother Bobby Kennedy in 1968. Oswald, the former U.S. Marine,
I believe that too. I believe that one lone gunman shit, like the whatever with that one lone gunman, like, ooh, look at me, I'm so emotional and I think you killed him, so I'm gonna kill you too. Like, if you don't get the fuck out of here.
Exactly like the kind of human weapon the CIA was trying to create with MK Ultra, as does Oswald's.
And it wasn't MK Ultra, it wasn't no goddamn MK Ultra, nigga, because y'all killed y'all own people. Y'all killed y'all own people. It was like a Russian dude. Anywho, let's continue.
Killer Jack Ruby, who insisted he had no memory of shooting Oswald at that.
Nigga, we talked about this earlier. I'm sorry. I keep pausing y'all. Okay, I ain't gonna pause it no more. But look, I'm feeling some type of way because we just talked about this. We literally just talked about this. Like, bruh, this little fat fucker right here. Hold on. Y'all can see this little fat fucker right here. His little fat emotional fucking ass thought that this nigga killed Kennedy. His little funky ass should have been running his funky club, but he had downtown shooting at him because he thought that boy, if you don't get, bruh, let's continue.
Dallas police station. Again, how was Jack Ruby allowed to have a clear shot at Oswald when Oswald was in police custody 2 days after he killed the President of the United States? And of course, we still have not seen the CIA's files on the JFK assassination 61 years later. What we have is the Warren Commission report, which was an obvious whitewashing, an investigation conducted by the very same people.
You know what files we do have? The MAK files. Ha ha. Hey, y'all want to see the MLK files? Okay. Well, let's continue.
People who need to be investigated. We know the CIA hated JFK and RFK, and JFK hated the CIA. John F. Kennedy blamed the CIA for the Bay of Pigs fiasco, which the CIA was in charge of. The Bay of Pigs.
That would be a nice live. Me doing the MLK files. I would never. I'm not gonna do it first. I'm gonna wait till somebody do it first, and then I'll do it second. If y'all talking about him cheating, I don't give a fuck about that. I gives no lovely fucks about that. I gives no lovely fucks about him cheating. Like I nigga, like none of that. I threw all that shit away. I gives no fucks. But the other shit, oh yeah. Y'all want to see me do a fucking live about the motherfucking MLK files? Let's go.
Of course, was a failed invasion of Cuba in April of 1961, led by the CIA in an attempt to overthrow Fidel Castro's communist regime. The CIA had trained 1,500 Cuban exiles for the invasion. The CIA also supplied 8 B-26 bombers to bomb Castro's airfields. No U.S. troops were used. This was a 100% CIA operation, and Castro easily defeated the invasion within 3 days. And these U.S.-trained paramilitaries, these Cuban exiles, were rounded up and either shot or imprisoned by Castro. This was an enormous embarrassment for President Kennedy, who had only been president for 3 months. Made JFK look incompetent. Castro became a national hero for defeating the invasion, which solidified Castro's power. And JFK blamed the CIA for this fiasco. As a result, John F. Kennedy became highly skeptical of expanding U.S. involvement in the Vietnam War, which further put him at odds with the CIA. The CIA and the military-industrial complex.
I'm sorry, y'all. Okay, one more again. Okay. I love Castro. I love Castro because one thing y'all didn't know, I don't know if it's still there because Castro is dead now. And I think his brother is the leader now. I don't know. I have not been keeping up with Cuba politics. I used to. Real heavy, kinda, sorta. But if you went to Cuba, you could get free medical, like you could go to school, medical school for free. I don't know if you could still do it now, but then you could go to Cuba. Look it up. Y'all think I'm lying. Y'all be thinking I'm lying. Y'all listen to me because y'all know I don't be fucking lying about shit. You can go to fucking Cuba and get. Why the fuck y'all think all these fucking Cubans are fucking doctors and nurses and shit? And they ain't know what to do with them. They had to fly, Brady, fly. Go to Florida, go somewhere, just get the fuck away from here. Like, if I'm lying, I'm flying.
Are always pro-war. The more wars, the better for the CIA and the U.S. military-industrial complex. If there are no wars, the CIA has to invent wars. The CIA misled President George W. Bush about Saddam Hussein having a nuclear weapons program, which got the Iraq war launched in March of 2003. Turned out Iraq had no nuclear weapons program, as we were told, no weapons of mass destruction. The result was 3,000 Americans dead, 60,000 wounded, 500,000 to 1 million Iraqis dead, $3 trillion spent. That was the result of being misled by the CIA. And JFK's Attorney General, his brother Bobby, had opened up an investigation into the CIA because the CIA had misled John F. Kennedy, President Kennedy, on the Bay of Pigs fiasco and screwed up the operation to overthrow Fidel Castro. So JFK and the CIA were enemies at that point. The CIA had a strong...
They fucking with Fidel because they think Asada Shakur over there. And then nigga, I would protect her any day. I wish the fuck y'all would come over here. Wish y'all little funky lying ass. They lied on that lady talking about she was pop, boom, bang, boom, boom, bum. What the fuck? Bruh. Just like y'all lying about this man in the CIA. Because I'm still trying to figure out how he in the CIA.
Incentive to get rid of JFK and replace him with a pro-Vietnam War Lyndon Johnson. And the CIA had a strong incentive to get rid of Bobby Kennedy, who would have won the Democrat nomination for president in 1968. He was promising to end the Vietnam War, and he had already opened up an investigation of the CIA when he was his brother's attorney general. The CIA certainly did not want Robert Kennedy to be president. and to Robert Kennedy's assassin, Sirhan Sirhan, on June 6, 1968. Sirhan Sirhan also had all the hallmarks of being a product of MK Ultra. Now, the propaganda narrative that we've been fed is that Sirhan Sirhan killed Bobby Kennedy because Bobby was pro-Israel. Every politician, every U.S. politician was pro-Israel, equally pro-Israel back in those days. So that theory makes no sense. Nor did Sirhan Sirhan have any...
Nigga, we pro-Israel now. We send billions to that motherfucking land. And Japan. And now Ukraine. The fuck is you talking about?
history of radicalism. Sirhan Sirhan was not even a Muslim. He was a Jordanian Christian. He attended John Muir High School in Pasadena, California, and Pasadena City College. He was from a nice Jordanian middle-class immigrant family. No background of political radicalism whatsoever. So he sure looks like a product of MK Ultra to me. Of course, this is just speculation on my part.
Why they be rebuilding? Why do we rebuild countries that they ain't got a bitch ass thing to do with us? Like Ukraine. They over there fighting. They fighting. They fighting. They fighting. What the fuck does that have to do with us? Nigga, go fix Iraq. Go fix all the motherfucking countries that you done fucked up. Go fix Africa. No. You know what? Don't fix a bitch ass thing. You know what? I don't even fucking care. I don't care. Y'all just gonna colonize. Y'all gonna do the same bullshit y'all do anyway. You know what? Let's continue.
But nothing about Sirhan Sirhan being Bobby Kennedy's assassin makes sense other than that. Like the Unabomber, I believe Sirhan, Lee Harvey Oswald, and Jack Ruby are all products of MK Ultra. Just speculate on my part. What do you think? I'll read your thoughts in the comments below. Now, RFK Jr., he believes that the CIA killed both JFK and his father, Robert Kennedy. RFK Jr. visited Sirhan Sirhan in prison in 2018 and conducted a long interview with Sirhan Sirhan. And given what...
It wasn't no fucking MK Ultra, my nigga. It was just a motherfucker that was like, I'll pay you $50. Okay. I'll pay you $1,500. A sharpshooter. Okay. Well, back in them days, yeah, 1,500. Now it's like 15,000 or whatever. Back in them days, it's like, I'll pay you 1,500 to just murk a nigga. I'm gonna give you the target. I'm gonna give you the date. I'm gonna give you the time. I'm gonna give you where you need to be. Like, man, get the fuck out. Y'all keep talking to people like they stupid. Keep talking to people like they stupid.
We know now about the CIA and how the CIA will stop at nothing to get the political result it wants. No theory is out of bounds. Today's Democrat Party has become the party of corporate America, the military-industrial complex, and Big Pharma. We saw that during the pandemic. The CIA, the FBI, today's Democrat Party, and the propaganda media are all part of the same cabal. They're all on the same team. They're just playing different roles with the same mission. That mission being control of the people. CNN literally employs Obama's former CIA director, John Brennan, and Obama's National Security Agency director, James Clapper, as expert commentators to
All of them look old and ugly as fuck.
make sure the American people understand the talking points. So the propaganda media doesn't even hide the fact anymore that it repeats whatever happened to be the CIA's talking points for that day, which are indistinguishable from the Democrat Party's talking points. And they see their mission as to defeat Donald Trump by any means possible, including multiple assassination attempts. They see Donald Trump as a threat to their world order. He does things like question NATO and why the U.S. taxpayers have to fund the bulk of NATO when it's Europe that gets most of the benefit of NATO.
First of all, why the fuck do we gotta pay taxes anyway? Do you know where taxes came from? Because you dumbass motherfuckers came over here with y'all dumbass, stupid, fucking man. Bro, I said no random thoughts with Jay, but y'all know where taxes came from. Taxes is illegal, by the way. Taxes is very illegal. By the way,
The United States doesn't really
very fucking illegal. Very fucking illegal. But if y'all got a business, I could help y'all. You know what I'm saying? Get away. But let's continue.
need NATO, quite frankly. And why does the United States need 800 military bases around the world when China, supposedly our number one adversary, only has one military base outside of China? And why does the United States need to spend more on its military than the rest of the world combined on military?
Nigga, because we dominate everything. We control everything. Nigga, we come to your country and we will colonize you. You white man, you don't know that? The fuck is you talking about? Oh, my bad. I'm speaking for him. Why am I speaking for him? Let me stop. Continue.
And then Donald Trump said, maybe 18 years of war in Afghanistan is enough. And notice that there were no new wars under Trump. In fact, there were very few wars at all under Trump. The world was in a state of relative peace and calm during Donald Trump's first term as president. That's bad for the CIA. That's bad for the $1 trillion a year military-industrial complex. That's bad for business. The Russia collusion.
Bro, y'all lost $90 billion in a month, boy. If you don't stop talking to me, y'all lost 90 billion, billions, bro. I would never see billions in my life. 90, bro. Shut the fuck up talking to me.
Hoax was a complete fiction and fell apart, but it did trigger a 2-year independent counsel investigation. Then we had 2 impeachment hoaxes. Then we had the January 6th set up and frame up, which I cover in this video here. Then when all that didn't work, the Harris-Biden regime and Democrat prosecutors launched relentless lawfare against Donald Trump after he announced that he would be running for the presidency in 2024. The political prosecutions and lawfare against Donald Trump did not work. So then we had 2 assassination attempts on Donald Trump this past summer by 2 losers who fit the profile of MK Ultra's mind control experiments. MK.
No, who the fuck shot Chris Kringle? Wait, what's his name? Chris Kirk? Oh, I didn't know the dude before y'all put him in my algorithm, so now I guess I gotta know him. Chris, bruh, who the fuck? Pew 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 pew. They knew what the fuck they was doing. Trust me, they knew what the fuck they was doing. That was a hit. If that was a hit, I ain't never miss. He didn't miss. He pew 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 pew. It wasn't no little pistol start either. It was a pew. It wasn't no pew pew pew. It was a pew, neck, and unalive. Let's continue.
Ultra was disbanded in 1973, but I'm sure it still exists under another name. And again, it's really not so much that the CIA is left or right. The CIA advances the party that promotes the middle complex that President Dwight D. Eisenhower warned us about. Donald Trump threatens the CIA's regime, threatens the military-industrial complex, because Donald Trump opposes endless wars. Whether the CIA was more leaning right and anti-communist in the 1960s and 1970s, or more left today, the CIA and the FBI basically see the Constitution as the problem, as an obstacle to get around.
I don't even want them to change the Constitution. I used to want them to change the Constitution. Now, you know what? No. Because the 13th, 14th, 15th Amendment is for me, for us. No. Because once they change the Constitution, it's going to be rainbows and flags and stuff that, no, we good. We just leave it the way it is. Because at the end of the day, you should uphold the Constitution. At the end of the day, you should uphold. I'm gonna be like Umar. Look, I'm gonna be like Umar. I'm speaking on my Umar shit. Because you know how you repeat shit like 35 times. At the end of the day, you should uphold the Constitution. I don't care what you say, what you ever think about my people, but at the end of the day, you should uphold the Constitution. And let's continue.
And today's propaganda media and Democrat Party see the Constitution the same way. In a big article in the New York Times now tells us that the Constitution is the problem. The New York Times is blatantly, and today really openly, a propaganda organ of the CIA. What these institutions really want is for America to become a one-party
13, 14, 15, when they ain't got shit to do with it. First of all, back in them days, Just Jay, play the video. Okay, I will, and I promise you, I'm not gonna say anything else after this, like for 5 minutes. I'm just trying not to get straight. Oh, we almost at the end, y'all. We almost at the end. Look, first of all, okay, I'm gonna play the video. Second of all, first of all, they want us to change the Constitution because it's like, oh, it don't fit your narrative, it don't fit your needs. Nigga, you wasn't here. You wasn't here then. It was white people and black people. Constitution, them niggas locked theyself in a room. They locked theyself in a room. Look, I'm on my Dr. Umar shit. They locked themselves in a room to figure out what they was gonna do with the Negroes. Think about it. They locked themselves in a room before they wrote up the fucking Constitution to figure out what they was gonna do with these black people over here. No, they don't need to rewrite it because it was about us. Y'all can keep trying to crowbar yourself in that way somewhere or somehow. Nigga, it was never about you because you weren't here. You was in Mexico. You was in Dominico. You was in Africa. Whatever the fuck you wasn't here. Fuck we talking about? Let's continue.
China-style authoritarian dictatorship. It's really not about capitalism versus socialism anymore. It's about control. It's about political power.
The people that govern you, the people that tell you people what to do, they're not good people.
Is there anything you think you can pass on that society really is missing and that you can tell them about?
Society knows when it wants to know. There's just a jellyfish, and it's only controlled by the people who want to move the sheep around. They don't tell them anything. Everybody knows that everybody's lying. Look at where your children are looking at it from. Who can they trust?
Here are a couple of books of mine that you might want to check out, both available on Amazon in all the formats. One is Bitcoin.
Y'all see the Bitcoin? Bitcoin book.
A Beginner's Guide, your off-ramp from the corrupt political system and protection from economic collapse. And the other book is Win Life, Success Skills Schools Don't Teach. Here's Manson at his parole hearing in 1992 explaining his ongoing bad behavior in prison.
Began to call me a liar and a treacherous bitch. Inmate Manson also stated I would like to break all the bones in your body starting with your elbow, working down to your knees. Then Inmate Manson stated, tell that man up there in the control booth operator to open the cell door and let me beat you into submission so that you'll be under my power. Do you recall that? Yeah. Threatening staff?
Do I get to explain?
You want to explain that?
Yeah.
You got it.
Prison is a treacherous place to live in. You miss one move and you get stabbed. You've got to be aware of everything that goes on. There's nothing that you can overlook. So out in the shower area, they got some rust that's coming out of the pipes. And this rust is building up, and it looks just exactly like instant coffee. If you take a spoonful of that rust and you mix it in with instant coffee and you give somebody a cup of coffee, you can burn their kidneys out. You can kill them. So there's a deadly substance out in the yard that needs cleaned up. Because if I'm aware of this substance, when someone else comes out, they see this substance, they may pick some of it up and put it in my coffee. So I try to be aware of everything. So I asked the woman when she came to work, I said, would you take the hose that you've been watering me down with and squirting me with when no one's looking and go out there and squirt down that yard and clean up that mess out there to where, and she says, well, no, she wasn't going to do that. I said, well, somebody needs to do that because it's a danger, you know. So she says she didn't want to do it and she called me a liar. So I called her a liar back. Now, whether you want to accept this or not, the deer in the woods, there's a doe and there's a buck. The buck comes up to the doe and scares the doe, and the doe turns around and backs up to the buck.
All I know is you're not supposed to shoot the female deer. That's all I know. I don't hunt. My family country as fuck. Whatever. Nigga, just... Anywho, don't shoot the female anything. If y'all hunt, don't shoot the female anything, okay? All right, let's continue.
That's a matriarch and a patriarch. I live in a patriarch. You live in a matriarch. You back up to your women. I don't back up to my women.
That's why I could never see him being an MK Ultra. Because he's like, nigga, I'm 5'2". I wish the fuck I would do anything you tell me to do. I got bitches. I got a dude. I got a boy. Okay, let's continue. Look at right. Like, I be into this, y'all. Y'all know I be into this. I don't know why y'all be coming over here. I be into this. And it's an open panel. It's an open panel. Let's continue.
I don't take no lip from my women. I don't give them none, but I don't take none either. If they disrespect me, I'll disrespect them back.
More Manson here.
Do you miss women?
Certainly. My goodness, yeah, damn right.
What do you think of women?
Oh, I like them. Yeah, they're nice. If they're put together well and everything, and they're soft and spongy, yeah, they're nice. As long as they keep their mouth shut and do what they're supposed to do.
Why do you say that?
Because that's what a woman's supposed to do.
Keep her mouth shut and do what she's supposed to do?
Sure.
Right, somewhere out there, there's at least one son that we know of that's your child, who's probably about 25 or 26 years old. You talk to that kid. What are you going to say to him?
You got to catch it on your own, boy. Train's hard. The road's rough.
And that's it.
That's all I knew. That's all anyone ever told me.
All right.
How do you feel about the fact that you're going to spend the rest of your life there?
The rest of my life where?
Right here.
You guys are poor. You've living 1,000 illusions, man. The rest of your life where?
In prison.
In prison. What prison? You got a prison in your mind? You see what I'm saying? You're in prison, son. You're the one that's in jail because you think there is such a thing as a prison. Did you have any thoughts about something? Was you wanting to go anywhere?
Were you happy when you found out you weren't going to go to the gas chamber, Charles?
I knew I wasn't going to go to the gas chamber because I hadn't done anything wrong.
Why would he go to the gas chamber? Why would he go to the gas chamber? No, no, Mika, you good. Just don't start a cult. Mika, don't start a cult. Mika, if you start a cult, yeah, the man, oof. But look, you in Jay's world, so you good. Now, once you get outside Jay's world, I can't protect you. But once you're in Jay's world, Jay's bubble, Jay's whatever happens here stays here. Anybody that's in here right now, all the 10 people that's in here right now, whatever happens here stays here. Okay? I don't give a fuck whether they make it a drop and all that of me. Whatever happens here stays here. Okay? That's all I'm saying. Lou, that's my okay.
Scared to die?
Sometimes I feel I'm scared to live. Living is what scares me. Dying is easy. How long have I been in jail? 34 years? 34 years, so...
Out of 47, you've been here 34.
I've been in jail, prison, a long time, all my life. I was raised up in here. So I understand jail, so I understand myself and I can deal with that. But there's different colors on different people's backs doing different things. It's a different world. I love the world I live in, too, just like Reagan loves the world he lives in. See, spiritualism scares you people because you've got this little stereotype church that you're buying and selling, and you're trying to put God in a building. But God is much bigger than that little church.
Bro, he had made his own religion. Bro, you gotta respect the dude that not only was he illiterate and learn how to speak, learn how to talk, learn how to be literate, he made up his own religion. People worshipped him. People literally worshipped his 5'2" ass. I didn't even know he was 5'2". That's crazy. Let's continue.
You know, and spiritualism is a lot more than they put in libraries and books, you know.
What do you miss most being in that cell?
I miss having my music because some egomaniac wants to feel important. And they keep my music away from me.
Your music is your guitar?
Yeah.
When we sit here and talk to you, people wonder, where did Charlie Manson come from? What are your earliest memories?
I come from the heart of Bing Crosby, Frank Sinatra.
But what does that mean?
Tom Mix.
Those were the people that you listened to as a child?
Yeah, Roosevelt. I come from the hills of Kentucky. Yeah. I come from hard times, bologna for Sunday dinner. I come from the Depression.
What about your mother?
Mother is the icebox. Yeah. She's the penitentiary. One of my first recollections is walking in Moundsville State Prison, West Virginia. Big gray stone place. And I come to visit my mom. She was doing time there.
For what?
Strong-arm robbery. Trying to make some food, put some food on the table and give me an operation when I was a child.
Arabia, are you still in here? Arabia. Arabia. Arabia, are you still in here? I need you to, I'm rewinding it and I want you, guys, I'm talking to Arabia. Don't think I'm, oh, look at Just Jay, she's been hostile. No. I'm being very clear about these cult leaders. Last week I did Jim Jones. This week I'm doing Charles Manson. Look at the similarities of these fucking monsters. Look at the similarities.
State Prison, West Virginia. Big gray stone place. And I come to visit my mom. She was doing time there.
For what?
Strong-arm robbery. Trying to make some food, put some food on the table and give me an operation when I was a child.
That's your first, one of your earliest memories?
Yeah, I remember that. That was a...
Are there happy memories?
I don't have that.
You don't have that?
I don't have that yin and yang that you do.
Is that yin yang?
Yeah, in other words, you can't make me unhappy.
Are sad memories, though, growing up?
I don't have all that.
Yeah.
Who is the one? Yes, I'm looking for the last one.
shit. Okay. All right.
Manson has been serving his time at this prison in.
Okay. All right. So the link is in the chat if anybody want to hit the link. Share their ideas, their opinions. I'm here to listen. I'm listening. I just don't think that man is MK Ultra. I think he's a sicko. Yes. MK Ultra. It just I didn't see MK. Lou. Lou. Anybody else? Look, anybody else but Lou. Muso, hit the link. No, you know what? Y'all ain't gotta hit the link. I'm joking. I'm so fucking joking right now. But my thing is like, bruh, how you gonna say this man is MK Ultra affiliated with the CIA and there's no proof just because he lived 2 doors down from the clinic, the free clinic, by the way, where he got bum bumps on this dick because he went to Coachella or whatever. Okay, anyway, I'm just Lou, stop laughing. Y'all stop laughing at me. I'm just saying. That's my conjecture. If y'all have anything, look, the link is in the chat. You act like I don't, baby. The link is in the chat. The link is all the way in the chat. Lou, don't be coming up here talking about yourself. We talking about the content. We talking about the topic. Lou, you would get dropped. Lou, Lou, you do you know I got a drop on you? But I like you, so I would never, because I like you. I got a drop on Anthony too, but I like him, so I would never. But it's hilarious. Come on. Exactly, because y'all know that what I'm saying is not wrong. Hold on. I know what the fuck I'm doing. Like, man, y'all be sitting up here acting like I'm lying. Man, y'all better get out of here. Y'all better get out of here with all that. Y'all better get out of here. Have y'all seen this yet?
Auntie.
Shut up!
Clock that tea with Garrick Travis Brown.
She act like she winning something. I mean, man, a 60-year-old grandmother, bro. Like, and listen, and I heard that Moonlight, I heard you ain't even get pregnant the old-fashioned way, allegedly, ma'am. I heard that you was artificially simulated. Artificially simulated. I heard something was shot up you, man.
Bro, why is he look out the window like a auntie? Like, what the fuck is we doing? That's the media though, Lou. That's the media. And I went online and I've done my research, baby. I got notes. Oh, you didn't even first of all, hold on. No, Lou. No, y'all. Before y'all leave, no. Answer my fucking question. Answer my fucking question. Hold on. Answer my question. What cult leader do y'all want to see next? Do y'all see it at the bottom? Do it need to scroll faster? What cult leader do y'all want to see next? I want to do Dave Koresh next. Do y'all want to see Dave Koresh next? Mika's trying to find a female cult leader, and it's just like, like it hit different. It hit different when it's a dude. It's like women's basketball. It's like, oh shit, they fine now. Okay, I can watch that shit now. Okay, but it hit different when it's a dude. Uh oh. Back to. Um,
Auntie affirmation.
uh,
Shut up!
Clock that tea with Garrick Chavis Brown.
She act like she winning.
uh oh.
Auntie affirmations with Medea Chavis Brown.
I'm trying to tell y'all, don't worry about what people say about you. They're going to try to belittle you. They're going to try to satellize your name. They're going to try to sabotage you. They're going to just try to do anything they're trying to do to destroy you. Restore you.
Auntie affirmations with Medea Chavis Brown.
I'm trying to tell y'all, don't worry about what people say about you. They're going to try to belittle you.
Why Bill's looking like that though, y'all? That's probably how he was looking when that girl came on this page. Like, this my ex-girlfriend, boy. Bye. That's your ex-girl, boy. Oh, oof. Look. I ain't the one to gossip, but y'all ain't heard it from me. Like, that's your girlfriend. I didn't see it. I heard about it, and if that's your girlfriend, I heard she was sunning you, my guy. You probably want to claim her. You probably just want to make man. Let me shut up, Jay. Let's go ahead.
They're going to try to satellize your name. They're going to try to sabotage you. They're going to just try to do anything they're trying to do to destroy you. Restore you.
Auntie affirmations with Medea Chavis Brown.
I'm trying to tell y'all, don't worry about what people say about you. They're going to try to belittle you. They're going to try to satellize your name. They're going to try to sabotage you. They're going to just try to do anything they're trying to do to destroy you. Restore you.
Auntie affirmations with Medea Chavis.
We interrupt your regularly scheduled program to bring you a special public service announcement.
We got some news going on in Brunswick, Georgia. Allegedly, Brunswick, Georgia manager, the opening manager at Goodwill is online threatening people, bragging about and abuse, threatening elderly women in the community that was nurses in the community. Oh my gosh, Brunswick, Georgia, Goodwill. Allegedly, I think his name is Tarek. I don't know, it might be Brown. He might be kin to Kwame Brown, but allegedly the community don't feel safe and people cannot go shop in Goodwill because they have someone who's managing Goodwill that's threatening so many people online. Oh my gosh, I can't believe Goodwill in Brunswick, Georgia, $1 billion company that's supported by plenty of churches and Christians and different religions like myself who donate things to places, to charities like Goodwill, is hiring these type of criminals. Goodwill, Brunswick, Georgia. Once again, Brunswick, Georgia is on the map. I can't believe they are giving criminals like this, they store keys. Oh my gosh, y'all. I can't believe this as a business owner myself. I can't believe that Brunswick, Georgia is hiring people like this to run their store. I don't think it's safe in there. I wouldn't go shop there. I would not go in. I won't even donate to that store in Brunswick, Georgia off of Alabama, allegedly. I would not go donate. If you done heard about this guy named Tarek, allegedly Brown, who works for Goodwill in Brunswick, Georgia, please drop a comment. I heard he's been going viral on the internet, threatening people, speaking on all type of criminal activities. This is the person who's running Goodwill, a multi-million-dollar company from charity. Oh my gosh.
We interrupt Goodwill Karaoke with Candyman.
Say it. Say it.
Hey man, who heard that song? Say what you need to say. Say what you need to say. Say what you need to say. Paylo, say what you need to say. Say it, bitch. The fuck are you talking about? Nigga, say it. And I'm gonna say what I need to say. Say what you need to say, and I'm gonna say what I need to say, bitch. Say what you need to say, and I'm gonna say what I need to say. Say what you 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 need to say.
Goodwill Karaoke with Candyman.
Say it. Say it.
It's well known, black Air Force Ones are the preferred form of footwear for crazy people worldwide.
Since y'all like looking at goddamn shoes, hey, I got on the anybody who mess with me chasers on.
Scientists have been working on trying to figure out if crazy people just like wearing black Air Force Ones or if black Force Ones makes people crazy. Legend has it, if Nike were to stop selling these shoes, the crime rate would drop by at least 30%.
Since you bitch ass niggas like to look at feet, you punks. Yeah, big slow. Yeah, I got these on this morning, boy.
It's well known, black Air Force Ones are the preferred form of footwear for crazy people worldwide.
Since y'all like looking at goddamn shoes, hey, I got on the anybody who mess with me chasers on.
Scientists have been working on trying to figure out if crazy people just like wearing black Air Force Ones or if black Force Ones makes people crazy. Legend has it, if Nike were to stop selling these shoes, the crime rate would drop by at least 30%.
Since you bitch ass niggas like to look at feet, you punks. Yeah, big slow. Yeah, I got these on this morning, boy.
It's well known, black Air Force Ones are the preferred form of footwear for crazy people worldwide.
Since y'all like looking at goddamn shoes, hey, I got on the anybody who mess with me chasers on.
Scientists have been working on trying to figure out if crazy people just like wearing black Air Force Ones or if black Force Ones makes people crazy.
Hey, hold on for a minute. I'm talking to people. Let me talk to you people real quick. Say check.
My bad, y'all. My bad. Lou, check your DM, Lou. Lou, you want me to make a drop on you, Lou, you want me to make a drop on you? Lou, you act like fucking Will T. Somebody make a drop on me. Somebody make a drop on me. Like, Lou, check your DM. Check your DM. I'm gonna send you something, and I'm not gonna make a drop, but I'm gonna send you something. It's funny, it's hilarious, but no, Lou, no, I'm never, no, like you not even in the circumference.
So y'all remember when Pan Low?
You're not even. Lou, I like you, I love you, but no, Lou, no. Look, I'm like the worst of the editors. I'm no Triple S. I'm no Letitia. I'm no fucking Thick Cut. I'm no nobody. But no, you could, no. Lou, do you watch me? What did I say? One thing about good editors, they watch everybody. I don't watch everybody, but who I watch, if you see my edits, that's who I watch. That's who I like. That's who I saw. That's who you know what I'm saying? In my brain, I thought that, it made great. Lou, check your DM. Check it right now. You want me to make an edit out of that? I'm gonna make an edit out of that. I know. I'm about to show you. I'm about to show you right now what I have been doing.
When Kevin Smith said what he said out of his mouth about, somebody pressing me and I was bullying the gambling house. I'm bullying the gambling house and shit, and a nigga upped the pistol on me. Well, I got one of my little homies that be in the motherfucking be up in the goddamn gambling spot with me all the time. You feel me? I walked out of that bitch with 11,000. Well, let's say $10,000 because I came in the game with 1,000.
Yeah, that's how much you quit crazy.
Yeah. This nigga say I only bet $50. I'm $50 nigga in the game. I come there without no money. I don't come there with no money. I just watch everybody else with the money that's gambling. This nigga don't know shit. That nigga say I be betting $50 at the gambling house, bro. Like, we ain't gonna go into all that there, but you know, a nigga from the outside, a lame ass nigga that trying to make somebody look like something. Come on, man. Come on, man. I'm not gonna put my money down if I ain't got a chance to get at that shit. That shit behind us. But I just wanted y'all to hear this shit from somebody that be there. You feel me? Somebody that be there. Hey, hold on for a minute. I'm talking to you. Let me talk to you people.
Oh.
Hey, pop
Hey!
Pop
Hey, pop that
quiz.
pussy!
Hey,
Hey,
let me go off camera.
Hey, Holly, crew!
You know.
Hey, Holly!
Pop it. Those
Hey!
are ready. Let's go.
Hey,
I
pop
need
that
to hit them
pussy,
lights.
baby!
Pop quiz, pop quiz. I'm only smoking a Black and Mild. But pop quiz.
Yeah, pop test right quick.
Everybody pop quiz. Hey, pop.
Lions Den, Jamaica emoji, super chatted $5. When will TJ learn? KB is bust life and we are just supporters. He got to be the dumbest person on YouTube SMH.
Nah, man, he said bust life or no life. Nah, listen, Lions Den, man, you ain't bust life, you ain't got no life, bro. TJ, do you understand how cultish that sounds? Like, I'm just talking about you. KB don't even say that, and that's his shit.
It's bust life or no life for me, baby.
KB don't even say that. You know how crazy that? Bust life or no life? No life? What do you mean no life? Like people can't live?
Yeah, it's bust life or no life for me.
If they don't, like what the fuck? TJ, that sounds crazy, man. KB don't even say that.
Man, it got to be bust life or no life. These niggas want to be a bust so bad.
Lions Den, Jamaica emoji, super chatted $5. When will TJ learn? KB is bust life.
Lock it up.
Lock it up.
Lock it up. You see that gorilla? Yeah. At the age of 57.
Yeah.
You see that gorilla?
Oh, he ready. He's ready. Ooh, look at him. He think he still got it.
Oh, man. Lightning fast.
He lightning fast.
He said he think he still got it. I'm dead.
Yes. Ooh, he's ready.
He said he think he still got it.
That's what he said. He said, "Oh, I know how to keep secrets." He said, "I didn't tell nobody that you set up your YouTube account for Gary." I said, "What?" That's what I said. You know what? That's when I know I gotta block you. I gotta block you, sir. I said, I never set up a page for Gary. Like, what are you talking about? You know how to keep secrets. And talking about something, I never told anybody you set up a page for Gary. What? I didn't set up no page for Gary. I said, oh, block. Once he said that, who the fuck told you that? I ain't set up no page for Gary. And then he thought I was lying. He was like, with the eyeball, yeah, I know. Our secret. Like, what the fuck is you talking about, nigga? This is a person on YouTube, and he on the quote unquote bust life side. I'ma tell y'all, I ain't gonna say no name. Rodney tried to set me up yesterday.
Rodney?
What made me block him altogether, he was like, I know how to keep my mouth shut.
Uh-huh.
I'm gonna keep my mouth shut. He was like, I never told nobody that you set up a page for 86K. I said, what?
Lonnie, wait a minute, Lonnie. So you telling me allegedly that King Slime was in your DM, acting manic?
Wait, he got this thing that I set pages up for 86K. I said, I ain't set no pages up for 86K.
When keeping it real goes wrong.
Play that right
No.
there. The Commandments.
No.
Just one song. I gotta help one brother out and that's it.
No.
He trying to knock a 304. I would like y'all to turn your Please. MacBooks to page. Turn your MacBook to 304. Let him get his money, man. Can he learn? Can he turn his MacBook to page 304? Fuck you, nigga. Fuck you. Play the song so I'm trying to train a young nigga. Get some money. I'm trying to get him to turn his book to page 304, please. Bitch, do you know how to say yes? Dang, I feel sad for you, Bishop. You're a grown man with no car, and it's hot outside. I'm gonna let you get away with that. You want me to pay for gas? You want me to pay for insurance? You want me, today, because you see me walking, and you see this living water coming out. Oh, I feel sad for you, Bishop. You ain't got no car and you walking. I got a bank account. You can send me an Uber in the Cash App, and I can stop right here and order Uber. Soon I order Uber, they gonna know my location. I'll stop and sit down and do the Uber right in front of you. You'll see when the Uber pull up when I get in there. If you put so you're really not concerned. You don't feel sad for me. There are city buses running. You know, you throw $3 or $4 in there and buy me something to drink. You won't see me hide. So you really don't care about me. My grandmother raised me and told me that's synthetic love. What you just displayed, what you just administered to me was synthetic. Dang, Bishop. Let me make fun of you all at the same time while I'm telling you I feel bad for you. But what I see is that living water that's on the inside coming out of the outside of you, Bishop. You in your hometown, Bishop. You at the fairgrounds. Pouncing these motherfucking pavements. Get out of my face. You feel sorry for me. Why? Why? Why do you want to feel sorry for me? I'm a grown-ass man.
When keeping it real goes wrong.
Play that right there.
When you are in the favor of the beholder, when you're in favor of the Most High, man, you know your blessings will be. It's like a glass of water just overflowing. He'll like overflow you with blessings, man. But you know, we just got to move and groove, past these little demons, with they satanic actions and always trying to keep a brother down, man. But look at God. When you are in the favor of the beholder, when you're in favor of the Most High, man, your blessings will be. It's like a glass of water just overflowing. He'll like overflow you with blessings, man. But we just got to move and groove, past these little demons, with they satanic actions and always trying to keep a brother down, man. But look at God.
It's okay not to be bus life. A lot of people ain't bus life built. You're not meant to be a bus lifer. You're not meant to be. That's cool. If you say you're not a bus lifer, what the fuck you playing bus life videos for? What you playing it for? If you're not a bus lifer, you niggas been getting fed. At the same time, trying to disrespect them, trying to disrespect bus life on the low. You niggas been getting fed. If you're not bus life and you don't rock out with bus life, what you getting fat for then, nigga? Do your own content. See how many views you get without that name up there, without that motherfucking special name up there. Do your own content.
We need to vote.
I'm about to vote.
I'm voting.
Bust Life Sector. It is time to cast your vote. This camera slip of Tarek Brown was captured in July of 2025. Do you believe this photo was taken 1 month later, in August of 2025?
They already said,
Fuck no. My bad. Okay. Okay. I'm not supposed to be here. My bad. Nigga, dude, this look, hold on. Dude, this look like the same person as I know you fucking lying.
already said this goddamn picture is 11 years ago. What the fuck?
Yes, we believe it's 11 years ago. Yes.
They make it up every fucking excuse. Now I got 11 years ago pictures and shit. Like, come on, man. You can't make this shit up. I got 11 years ago pictures that I'm posting of myself. Damn. And if I tell them this was like what? 2 days ago? Yes, I'm posting up old pictures. Damn. Well, I ain't got time for all that shit. It's whatever y'all motherfuckers say, okay? Whatever y'all say it is, that's what it is then. How about that? Fuck it.
We need to vote.
I'm about to vote.
I'm voting.
Bust Life Sector. It is time to cast your vote. This camera slip of Tarek Brown was captured in July of 2025. Do you believe this photo was taken 1 month later, in August of 2025?
Fuck no.
They already said this goddamn picture is 11 years ago. What the fuck?
Boss, lie or no lie, I don't feel like, my chat should support anybody who think that we are a cult. I don't think, this is just my opinion, I don't think that we should support somebody that's calling us.
Bro, I'm doing cult series. I'm doing a cult series. We'll get back to y'all later, but hey, look at me. Wait a minute. Look at me. Hey, y'all see this? Wait, can y'all see this? Look at me. Y'all see that? Look at me. Right. You didn't get a notification? Well, you need to set your notification to all so you can get the notification because we about to end this thing in a few. We had a whole lot, and I think I did good. I think I did okay. I think I stayed on topic. I was, but I think I did good. I veered off a little bit, random thoughts with Jay, but I think I did good. I think I did okay. Yeah, I think I did all right. Dang, you just not getting here? Well, welcome. Hit the like button on your way in.
A cult? Do y'all agree or disagree? I mean, but if somebody calling me a goddamn cult, we're a cult. I'm looking at my damn chat. I see Bust Light. I see Bust Light. I feel as though we don't need to support no motherfucker that's calling somebody a cult. We don't need to be goddamn supporting no motherfucker that think we a damn cult. No. That's not the way the world works. That's not the way it works at all. You can't just say certain things out of your mouth, nigga. Yeah, so everybody in my chat today, we are a cult. And whether it's Cortez, Rodney, Nacho, my brother, we all a cult. That's all who be in my goddamn chat.
I wouldn't want to support nobody that's calling me a goddamn cult.
Boss, lie or no lie, I don't feel like, my chat should support anybody who think that we are a cult. I don't think, this is just my opinion, I don't think that we should support somebody that's calling us a cult. Do y'all agree or disagree? I mean, but if somebody calling me a goddamn cult, we're a cult. I'm looking at.
Yeah, man, they got me, man. It's all good. It ain't nothing though.
No, but I thought you done cammed up before though. I don't know what they talking about.
No, so then what happened? Big Low put the video that a tree fell on his van. Me and the answer were finna go up there and be like, see, that what you get? Before he let me on, he like, man, you gotta cam up. I don't know if it's the real.
Hey, cam up. I gotta make sure it's the right coach bit, bro. Just flip up, flip down. That's all you gotta do. Flip your shit up, flip it down. That's all you gotta do, Coach Vic. I don't be in 100 with you, bro. Yeah, that's your old bit bubble face. Man, come on, bro. Man, this nigga try to get in the boxing ring with me and he 5,000 pounds.
And he instantly, you know what I'm saying, put the big screen on or whatever. But it ain't nothing though.
It's a picture for me. If you would have showed a fucking fat nigga, a big fat nigga, as your profile picture, we wouldn't have gave a fuck. We wouldn't have gave a fuck. But you showed this in shape nigga. Was that you from 15, 20 years ago? Listen, what he coaching? What the fuck is he coaching? You ain't coaching nobody, nigga.
30 days, watch, I'm at 302, not gonna lie. I hurt my knee, so that would have got me to be a little more inactive than I normally been. So I done gained a little weight. It ain't no big thing though. Watch how I lose that weight so fat. Cause I know she's finna have a field day. Yeah.
Y'all, I'm about to get out of here. I'm about to get out of here. I appreciate y'all for rocking out with me. Thank you. Thank you. Hold on, let me shout out to the chat. Arabia Wraith. You came so late. I don't know how you didn't get my notifications. It's me. Your notifications should say, it's me in the building. It's me. It's always me. Anytime your notifications hit you, when it's talking about me, it should say, it's me, Harley. Uncle L. Kara so sweet. Lou in the building. Lou, you're gonna probably be mad at me, but no, I didn't do a drop on you. No. No. No, 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 no. No drop on you, Lou. But I'm gonna show you, and you're gonna probably laugh your fucking ass off, but I ain't do a drop on you. Dub, Alice, blessed child of God. Look, I'm going up. Muso! Y'all. Young Rias. I'm going up, y'all. I'm about to end the live. Mika X. The opinionated Kobe knows. DC Young Block. Or is it DC Block or DC Young Block? In my head, it's like DC Young Block. I don't know why. Serious S, my Virgo sis in the building. I'm still going up. Pick and choose. Slam with 2 M's. Uncle L. Y'all. Good night. Oh, wait. It's morning time. Okay, well, fuck it. Good night for me. Good night for y'all. Or good morning. Oh, what? Look. What I say? Good morning night. I'd be like, good morning night. Good morning night. Yeah, we is about to end this live because it was a good live. Y'all have to watch the playback. I think I did good. I stayed on topic. It's not 10 and 12 hours. Lovelies! Lovelies, you just don't get in here, girl. Freaking Lovelace. Oh, Lovelace, you got to watch the playback. I think I did good tonight. I think I did good. I think I did really good tonight. 3 hours. That's nice. And the video was like an hour and like 45 minutes long, Lovelace. So I think I did really freaking good. I think I did hella well. You got to watch the playback. I think I did okay. I think I did nice. Got to watch the playback. But y'all, I'm about to get out of here. Thank y'all so much for showing up, showing out. Look, 3 hours. I am amazed. Look at me self. Look at me. Oh my God. Look at me. Hey, fanning me. But y'all, I gotta go. I'll see y'all out here in these YouTube streets. Bye.